Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental US, including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the second race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Ground Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish number 1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu works himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Hutu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now, just 3 corners left to go, into Brooklands for the final time, into Luffield for the final time. Never ever say that Gregor Hutu is beaten, because he just comes back bigger, he comes back stronger. He wins round number 9 of the World Championship Series, 49th win of his career. If you're the world's greatest racing driver, you can do it with your statements on the road courses. Do it when it matters. Out of the final corner for the final time, number 50 for Gregor Hutu, out of the final corner. At the top of the broadcast we said if Hutu could win here today, he could well cement himself as the championship favourite. Gregor Hutu, the number 1 machine, back to victory lane, win number 51. Hutu is inching closer rapidly to his 5th, and yes, I say that correctly, his 5th World Championship. Out of the bus stop chicane comes the number 1 Team Redline driver, Gregor Hutu, will win here at Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Yes, you may be behind a computer with a steering wheel and a set of pedals, but for these drivers, this is as
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada.
Good evening once again, sim racing fans. 6 days of racing, 4 feature races down, and now only 1 race remains. We welcome you live to the virtual 5 Flag Speedway for the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250. It is the super late model feature and the finale to the 2015 Sim Auto Racing Association Fall Brawl Spectacular. Over $625 worth of prizes in this race alone, and $250 to the winner. As we welcome you inside the LSRTV broadcast booth, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramouza with you, Gabriel Wood on the pit lane, and Laurel Lawson in the production hauler. Guys, it is time to finally wrap up the biggest week in short track sim racing with the SARA Fall Brawl, and we're doing it in style. The drivers on the front straightaway now, just moments away from doing the driver introductions.
That's right, all the anticipation, all the hype, all the practice, all the qualifying, all the heat races, it all comes down to this one event, 250 laps here at the famous 5 Flag Speedway here in Pensacola, Florida. I'm excited for it. We're all ramped up for it. This is going to be a fantastic evening.
250 laps, the longest race we've seen all weekend in Cisco. We went 150 all last night, just wrapping up 200 laps in a wild pro late model feature race. The super lates, though, the big boys, time to hit the racetrack for what is no doubtably going to be the biggest race on the season, obviously, and as well, probably the most exciting, because you look at the names in this field, it is stacked top to bottom.
Yeah, it is absolutely stacked. I mean, talking about starting second or starting 9th tonight, Ty Majeski, you know, Mr. 1,000 or 10,000 I rating, and then we have people, you know, Ryan Borges, PJ Sturgis, Daryl Hamlin, Ty Spearman, a bunch of these great names been running all weekend. Some of these guys coming in just for the big one. It should make this an interesting race.
It's a 35 driver grid qualifying in through Thursday night super late model qualifying that we brought to you live, and through the LCQ that just wrapped up. So there are now 35 drivers on the grid, and let's now go down trackside. Let's introduce you to where these drivers will start from tonight. Let's take a look at the starting grid for the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250, and it begins with P35.
Starting P35 is the number 29 Super Elite model machine of Dale Owen.
Just in front of him, starting 34th, in the number 1 Jimmy John's Chevrolet, it's Alex O'Brien.
33rd starting spot is the Boucher.com Barker Reconditioning Specialties number 17 Chevrolet. That's Barry Zelmer in 33rd.
32nd starting position belongs to the number 39, the SOG Racing Cup McCain Foods D&D Amusements of Scott Olison.
Starting 31st is the number 50 Sundrop Citrus Soda Machine of Jeff Hogard.
The unique signs and design from Last Row Motorsports, it's the number 97 of Dylan Schmidt, starting 30th.
Starting from 29th tonight, it's the Hurricane Race Cars Ford Fusion entry of Tom Hamika.
Starting in 28th, the number 5 Rusty's car is going to be Brian Thompson.
Starting 27th, the BBH Motorsports Super Late Model, it's Matt Batempi.
The Super B Challenger, number 84, driven by Russell Berry, will roll off 26th.
Starting in 25th position, the number 99 Coors Light entry of Kevin Berg.
24th is going to go to the number 2 Loco Toco Designs, Cody Thompson from the Posse.
Starting 23rd, it's the number 63 of Hunter Combs in that Monster Energy Chevrolet SS.
Rolling off 22nd tonight in the Lions Club International Chevrolet, it's the number 44 of Paul Fugate.
Starting 21st tonight with the ALS Association Racing to Cure ALS on board the Explosive Motorsports Ford, it's Mark Gamick.
In the 20th starting spot, the Holhausen Racing number 82 is going to be Derek Holhausen.
Starting 19th in the Ohio State Buckeye Dodge Dart tonight, it's going to be Ian Lane.
Rolling off 18th tonight for Team Explosive Motorsports in the ALS Association Chevrolet, it's the number 4 of Wendell Stratton.
Starting 17th, one spot up, it's going to be the BBH Motorsports Ford Fusion entry of Marcus Lambert.
In 16th position is going to be the 787, the second Holhausen Racing machine of Kyle Holshausen.
Starting 15th in the number 54 SRGFX.com Ortec Racing Performance Parts Camry, it's Stephen Burnett.
The second Explosive Motorsports entry tonight, rolling off 14th, will be the number 36 of Daryl Hamlin.
Starting in the unlucky number 13 starting position tonight, your Pro Late Model feature winner in the Mach 1 Racing Graphics Ford Fusion for Mach 1 Racing, it's Stefan Marinac.
In 12th position for the Beer Hill Gang, number 42, Joe Letterillo.
Starting 11th in the Mad Speed Racing Toyota Camry, it's Jason Williams.
Starting 10th for Last Row Motorsports in the Inex Racing TTL Chevy, it's the number 57 of PJ Sturgis.
Ninth spot going to go to the 25. Todd Sight rolls away in the Callaway Investment Chevrolet, part of the Posse.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 8th position, your Fast Lap Award winner, the number 91, Ty Majeski.
Starting 7th is going to be the number 28 Last Row Motorsports Ford Fusion, it's Casey Tucker.
Another driver for the Posse, driving the Snap-on Chevrolet in 6th starting spot. It's the 67 of Kevin Myers.
And as the drivers get set to hit the grid, starting in P5 tonight, the Brennigan.com Ford for Turn 4 Racing, the driver of the number 51, Matt Rolfe.
Second row outside, the number 70 of Davey Ridenour, fielded by Explosive Motorsports.
Starting 3rd in the number 8 Chevrolet Impala for Turn 4 Racing and the Passport Healthcare Machine, it's Derek Robinson.
Starting outside pole in the number 32, it's Ryan Borges for Molecule Motorsports.
And winning the qualifying dash live on LSRTV on Thursday night, and the pole position for the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250, the 4S Sign and Supply of Gaffney, South Carolina, the number 92 of Ty Spearman, as well driving a machine powered by the Posse, a Ford power plant. Going to bring us to the green flag tonight. We welcome you into the feature race on the Sim Auto Racing Association 2015 Fall Brawl Spectacular. The field is on the grid, and we get set to do battle for 250 laps under the lights at the Five Flag Speedway. Evan Pasocco, Andy Kessler, Cisco Scarmuza, Gabriel Wood, Laura Lawson with you as we are so excited to wrap up the last 7 days and the biggest short track sim racing event on the year, Andy. We saw some fireworks if you were with us a little bit earlier in the Pro Late models. Because of that, James Linkowitz slated to start first, Joe Schaefer slated to start 18th. Both of those drivers have been parked for the race. That adds O'Brien and Owen to the back of the grid to make a 35-car starting grid. It should definitely be the best racing action we have seen all season long, all week on with this special event. One to go this time by.
Yeah, you got the top drivers, top short track drivers in all of iRacing here tonight. Fast laps, fast times, pretty little cars that aren't going to be so pretty at the end of this thing. We're in for a real treat with some beating and banging and some fantastic racing between these guys. And 250 laps will settle it all here tonight.
Ty Spearman going to get us underway. The pace car going to make the sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road, and it is time to finally get the feature race underway. $633 on the line, $250 to the man that crosses the start-finish line first. Green flag in the air. The super late model feature is underway, and Spearman, for the first time to turn 1, he leads us down the back straightaway, side by side by side by side, second on back, all the way through the top 10.
Yeah, great battle for second right now. On the bottom side, Derek Robinson, he's got the advantage, but Ryan Borges, we've seen him all week long be very strong. He's strong right now on the outside, but he's not going to make it happen. Caution on the speedway.
Couple of guys turned around on the front straightaway. The one machine gets sent in. Yellow flag flies for the first time tonight. Problems out of turn number 4, lap number 2. Going to be a quick slowed pace to this race, and the one driver parked up against the inside wall was Alex O'Brien. However, the Jimmy John Chevrolet, not the start of this caution. It's problems back with Scott Olison, the number 39 machine, a self-spin in the D&D amusement game Chevy on the inside of turn 4. Again, guys, we already got to get right back in our regular conversation. Loose to condition in 4. The 39 loses it, comes back up the racetrack. Nobody else involved at that point. Then you have the one machine trying to get through. Alex O'Brien catches up to a couple of guys who checked up hard. The Jimmy John's machine ends up into the fence after the yellow, and 2 drivers involved early here at 5 flags.
And it's just another case of those secondary cautions. It looked like what happened there. The 39 kind of spooked the 44 and checked up the 17 and O'Brien in the one car. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Wasn't expecting the big slowdown. It just got into the back of, that's the 33 of Barry Zelmer. So just tough break for the one car, you know. But we'll be talking about it all night tonight. Those secondary cautions, they're super dangerous here.
And for the first time tonight, going to throw things down to our pit correspondent, Gabriel Wood. Gabriel, we've been talking about it all weekend, and we saw it in the most recent race. For the Pro Late models, these drivers all have 4 Hoosier Racing tires on board, and they have 4 down in the pit lane. That is all they can use. Last race, everybody came down, at least the guys that ended up finishing inside the top 5. They took on 4 tires at the halfway point. That's not the only strategy option available, though.
No, there's a few other things they can do. Top off with fuel. Obviously, they're probably going to have to stop. They might have to stop a couple times for fuel. It's going to be close, obviously, with 250 laps. So, but the tires, that's going to be the main key. We saw a couple guys in the first event we had here earlier this evening come down pit road and actually took his tires around lap 130. So, saved him all the way to the end, and he ended Eventually, he ended up finishing second. So you're going to see strategy all throughout the night, all different types. Guys in the back going to want to try to do something to maybe get to the front, because passing here is really, really tough to do.
Yeah, guys, down here on pit road, looking at the fuel loads they have for this race, you can go on just over 100 laps on a tank of gas, and that does not add up to 250 laps. So you're going to see these guys on pit road at least twice, which makes things very interesting. Do they take 2 tires on their first pit stop and leave 2 tires in the pit box to use later on their second pit stop, or do they take all 4 of them at the same time and try and make up the time?
Ty Spearman going to elect to take the outside lane for this restart. Pace car going to drop down, and we get set for our first American Ethanol restart on the night. 250 laps, an intimidating number. It's a long way from home, but this race can go by quickly. These guys got the speed to do it. Green flag back in the air, and 92 is Spearman, no problem leading us back down to turn number 1. Robinson will get second. Ryan Borges this time on the bottom side after starting in second. He wants to fight with third. David Riendo top side, giving him some problems forward. 32 going to get third. 70 most likely will slide back to fourth. Behind them, a good fight with Matt Roll fighting the 67 of Kevin Myers top side.
Yeah, Myers doing a great job on that high side right now in that 67 machine, hanging tough. We've seen it even in the first race that maybe for a lap or 2 he can do it. This time, Matt Rolfe able to get around him. Now the 28 of Casey Tucker, he's making his way around, and now it's 91 of Ty Majeski. So tough break for him. He's got a little bit of room behind Majeski, see if he can drop down in there, but right there, yes he does. So there we go, single file now, top 10.
And Majeski trying to go forward right now in 7th position, started back at 8th spot, obviously one of the favorites into this super late model feature. got the pole position for the time trials, fastest driver in time trials. He picks up the $10 Fast Lap award, but if you were with us on Thursday night, the top 10 were inverted. The qualifying dash is what determined the starting position for this race. 91 lost the engine early, caused him to start back in the pack tonight. More problems, though, on track. This time, Paul Fugate appears to be involved. The 97 of Dylan Schmidt with some front-end damage. Caution flag will fly, and again, this starts Ole in front of those guys. Brian Thompson, the first driver with problems. The 5 Rusty's machine to the inside. Looks like the 20 in front of him with some small connection issues on Matt Bontempi's entry. That sends Brian Thompson into the inside of retaining wall, and Fugate, the innocent victim in that one, that picks up some damage.
Yeah, just nowhere to go for these guys. I mean, just going into one, they're starting to slow down a little bit, but they weren't expecting something like that, especially Brian Thompson. And I feel bad for Thompson. He had about a foot to go there, and he would have been fine, but netcode can strike at any time, and apparently struck Brian Thompson right there. That's going to hurt for him. He was looking really strong.
And we talked about a couple of the drivers, the 5 actually into the pit lane wall as he was undecided if he wanted to pit. The number 5 machine of Thompson actually drives it into the inside wall there, gonna get some more damage on top of what he was already working with. We talked about a couple of guys in a pro late model race on this sim, Andy, that we always say that a mechanical failure in the sim is essentially a connection problem. We had 2-3 drivers lose connection from the race. 2 of them were able to come back. One of them, it was forced to retire because of that. That is always a factor in simulated racing. Unfortunately for Matt Bontempi, he appears to be having some early connection issues, and if you're Thompson, it doesn't help much, but that's really the reason why the 5 car ended up in the fence there. So 2 quick and early cautions here inside of the first 15 laps. Ty Spearman continues to lead the way. Derek Robinson from 3rd spot to 2nd. 8 going to be back topside, and Spearman was on the bottom for the drop of the first green flag. He chose the top side after that. I feel like the top side going to be the way to go if our race leaders are going to want to start up there essentially all night long. That's what we've seen so far.
Yeah, we've seen that so far, Evan, and I think it might, for some guys anyway, if they do it right and the way they come off of turn number 4, it really gives them a nice straight shot off the corner, I think, for them, and so plus a little bit extra banking, so I think they're able to really hammer the throttle really nice there on the top side. So I believe that's the reason that they'd want to do that. Obviously, it's worked in the race earlier tonight, and it's also working right now for the leader. So I expect to see that probably the rest of the night.
Tonight's super late model feature is presented by Brennigan.com, Ford title sponsor on our final feature race on the weekend. Brennigan.com Ford, a one-price dealer since they opened in 1991, giving customers the lowest price first on all new and used vehicles in stock. Visit Brennigan.com to buy a Ford today. The lights on top of the Ford Mustang GT pace car go out, and going to get down to the safety of the pit lane for the second time tonight. Spearman again topside, Robinson inside. It's going to be Ryan Borges in 3rd, Dave Riendo P4, and Casey Tucker topside in 6th. Matt Rolfe on the inside of row 3 rounds out our top 5, and the pace car goes down and away. Pace car going to come back out. The green flag drops, and then a delay at the back of the grid. Caution flag will come back out, and problems behind these guys because the sim threw the green flag, guys. Pace car came down, but we've been talking about the control car all race long. What happens is the pace car goes down, the green is not technically out for another 5 or so seconds. So the pace car comes down, the sim then realizes that somewhere at the back of the pack they are not ordered up correctly. The sim then reissues the caution flag, but after that your leaders had already started going because the control car can go before the green actually drops, and that caused a lot of confusion up front.
And the big loser on that one's going to be 26 of Stefan Marinak, who was actually our winner there in the pro late model. He had no idea what was going on, and the field started checking in front of him. He just locked it up, and the I believe who's that? Not really sure. 54 machine got into the back of him, but tough break, and that's going to be a goofy one.
And he got a hard hit in that one. He was turned around to the outside fence, got hit by that 54 machine, the 36, maybe a small piece of that. That's nothing that these drivers did. Again, that's just the sim. 1 lap, and now we go back at it. So the pace car down and away. Hope you got back in line. Green flag back in the air, and an early and interested restart here at the 5 Flag Speedway. Ty Spearman stays in front of the field down to turn number 3. Riendo topside trying to fight off Ryan Borges. The Last Row Motorsports Honda has not had a good good race weekend at all, trying to fight for a podium position inside, obviously, the preferred lane of Majeski. Just behind him, going to follow him through.
Ty Majeski, definitely a fast car earlier this evening. Has a real good setup. He's been fast all week long. Here he is now fighting his way back up into that top 5 now as he rolls off of the corner. He's going to get around Riendu. Here comes the 28 now. He's also Casey Tucker. He's also going to make room or make do with that spot right there. Riendu's going to have to fall back in line at this point. That's going to push him all the way back to that 6th spot currently. They're all single file though off of turn 2.
For that Club New England machine, now back to P6. You mentioned Tucker makes a move in front of them, side by side for the number 2 spot on track. Borges to the inside on the 8 of Derek Robinson. This is for 2nd overall, down in turns 1 and 2. Inside lane will prevail, and Ryan Borges now takes home the 2nd spot down to turn 3, exactly where that LRM machine started this race. Because that was on the outside, he dropped a couple of spots, and here comes Ty Majeski, fastest driver in the time trials, already up to 3rd spot after starting in 8th. 28 going to join the party. Also, here comes Casey Tucker, and as we like to say, to the inside, Cisco comes the freight train. No love for Robinson topside.
Yep, we've been seeing it all weekend. That topside, you can't get anything done up there unless you have a really well-handling car. And right now, it looks like Derek Robinson is going for, or no, he's going to duck to the inside now. So he's able to get down there and stop the bleeding now. But he lost a couple spots there, that 8 machine. And he's going to have to fight back up there and hope maybe someone else gets kicked to the outside so he can pick up a couple spots.
Every single time you find yourself topside, you're going to lose 3 or 4 spots on average. That's exactly what you saw there. A lot of fighting going on through the pack, but for this brief moment, no double file. Everybody single filed out. Now the stage in the race where drivers that may be a little bit better of a race trim, not the best qualifying trim, or not the best luck really in the qualifying heats on Thursday, which could have been a toss-up for Mitty. Now's the point where they are going to start to try to work their way through the field, past some of the guys in front of them that were a little bit slower. Kyle Holtzhausen, a name that I'm looking at, the 787, the Holtzhausen Racing Ford, 15th spot right now, was 16th on the grid based on where he finished in his heat race. It was the fastest car in practice. What does that 787 have in race trim?
Only time will tell as they get moving here. If we can get a nice long green flag run, a lot of these guys would like to see what they have under this machine for a long run. Typically, short run cars are they're really good on restarts. The long run cars are the ones who really come through the field and make their way up and make up a lot of ground and make up a lot of positions. And so far, the 787 just basically able to hold serve right where he's at, sitting at P15 at the moment as he started 16th. So he's doing a great job at least holding serve right now. But long green flag run, that's exactly what these guys are hoping for, to actually see what their car has.
Well, you want to talk heartbreak. Matt Rolfe, the organizer behind this entire Sim Auto Racing Association Fall Brawl, running in a top 10 spot. He has just received a throughput fall to an unacceptable level, so Rolfe has disconnected from the sim. He's in 30-30s, reconnecting now, but he'll be double digits off of the lead lap. Dylan M. Schmidt's night, his night already done. So is Scott Olison's. Wendell Stratton already done for the evening. Alex O'Brien as well, parked on the pit lane. Stephen Burnett is 3 laps down. Barry Zelmer 2 laps down, and Brian Thompson 1 lap down. The 3 drivers still actively on the racetrack that are still out there on track. And Gabriel, because there's still a couple of guys out there, and many of them already beaten and banged just a little bit, Ty Spearman up front, he'll start to have to navigate not only lap traffic from those guys, but pretty soon he'd be catching up to the back of the field.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened, but there's a group of about 10 cars that got separated from the main pack, and they're just sitting there about a straightaway away from the 92 car, Ty Spearman. So these guys are going to get caught pretty fast. It'd be interesting to see how the 92 works through them.
The Spearman right now works about a straightaway length away from the next car he would catch. That would be Zary Zelmer. And then once you get past Zelmer, again, you're right up on the back of those guys that you were talking about there. I think about 8 drivers or so, 10 to 12 seconds back, which means they're really just about 3 or 4 seconds in front of Ty Spearman. Ty Majeski trying to put the number 91 into victory lane for the 2nd time on this weekend. Not the result that he wanted a little bit earlier. Right now in the 2nd spot, he is closing in on Ty Spearman. Borges back in 3rd is over a second off. The top 2, the pace of the field. Trouble down the back straightaway, though, in front of your race leaders. Caution flag is out. hearing the number 67 machine, maybe one of the drivers involved. 36 machine, also Daryl Hamlin, turned around the wrong direction. That is where the problem will be. Caution flag is out for the third time tonight, and it is the 67, Kevin J. Myers. First driver with problems, and another single car incident, just somebody losing the handling on these super lates, and it looks like Myers up into the fence. He collects the 36 car.
Yeah, just a tough break for the 36 car, almost nowhere where he could go. Luckily, it looked like for the most part, 20 got in the wall a little bit, but for the most part, it looks like those were the only 2 cars in the incident, though. I'm looking, nope, yep, it's only going to be those 2 that get any damage, so no big checkups here going to hurt anyone on this wreck.
And Kevin J. Myers comes up over the radio and takes responsibility for that incident, says that it was all on him, so his damaged car comes down to the pit lane and will seek some additional services before getting back out there. Talked to a couple of the drivers, Eddie, before this race, and they said that once you get more than 30 laps or so on tires, these things really start to get loose. We saw the same condition in the pro late models. We're seeing the same thing here in the super late models. And if you haven't been with us all weekend, the problem is these guys are catching the apron. If you have been tuning in, it'll sound like we're beating a dead horse, but once you get those 2 left side tires onto that white line or get low there's not a whole lot of lighting in turns 3 and 4, and there's not a white line down on the bottom to differentiate the progressive banking of this racetrack and the flat of that apron. A lot of guys racing so tight on each other are just nicking that apron, and it sends those cars straight up the hill.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you see in turns 3 and 4 all the time, and that's where most of the cautions happen, or the self spins happen. It's coming out of turn number 4, and that's exactly what it is, Evan. They get on the apron, you get those left side tires down there. It gets in that flat, maybe some dirt, maybe some rubber down there also, and the cars just end up looping themselves around. So once you're back on the throttle and they're out of shape and they're going around, and then the secondary problem of this track is how quickly you can come up onto somebody like that. So if you have one guy that spins in front of you and you don't quite see them, then all of a sudden you're into it real quick. And we saw that happen for the leaders in last race for the 91 of Ty Majeski. He had that issue with somebody spinning out in front of him. So yeah, it's going to be something to watch out, especially in that turns 3 and 4, like you talked about, without the lighting and without that white stripe to mark the apron.
Matt Rolfe going to continue with the connection problems, got back in the sim, and he is once again disconnected. Light's going to go off at a pace car. Before we go back green, though, Gabriel, that incident rather close to your race leaders. That's happened a couple of times tonight and is a big concern.
Yeah, you were earlier talking about how Ty Majeski had a rough night. He was leading by almost a straightaway, and a lap car spun out in front of him, and he got collected. And then 20 laps later, the inherited leader, I forget who it was, almost got into him in the same spot. So, like you guys talking about earlier, the track conditions, the lighting, it's not the most ideal lighting for this track. So, it's really hard to see these guys wrecking. So, a lot of these guys are going to have to check up. No ARCA brakes.
And there's a lot of room, as you see, they go back down to 3 and 4. A lot of room when we come back to the green flag here, up to speed. When there's a problem, though, there's not a whole lot of alternatives for these guys. It can be a rough and tough night for some of these guys to make it a total of 250 laps. Spearman, though, continues to lead it. It was Majeski using that last green flag run, began to close him down. Look at the 5 machine stuck on the inside of the racetrack. That's a bad spot to be in, and he's able to get to the apron. Problem on that front stretch is there's the pit lane wall right there. You can't get out of the way, so if you're on the bottom into turn 1, you're directly in that preferred groove. That could have been very interesting. Good fight going on just inside of the top 10. The 42 car up topside, Joe Lattarello, no support. The 82 machine going to make a pass. That's Derek Holtzhausen, and Mark Gamick trying to pick up from after having a poor result to a very good pro late model race. Takes a look bottom.
Yeah, and right now that battle's going to continue. Lattarello hanging tough on the outside. He's the first one I've seen so far tonight who's actually been able to put up a fight up there as he's racing Mark Gamick right now. Mark Gamick going to get the run in, though, in that 65 machine. He's going to clear that spot. And now the 99 of Kevin Berg is going to get clear, or he's going to try and clear Lattarello. Now he will do so, and now Lattarello, unless he can get to the inside, he's going to get to the inside just in front of Cody Thompson there, and that's going to cause a little bit of a checkup, but everyone's so far okay on this green flag run.
Here, Robinson, a little bit of attack to the back of the number 22, or rather just the 2 machine of Cody Thompson in front of him. Another one of the posse entries. This now just outside of the top 10. Top 2, by far and large, still the fastest drivers on track at the moment. Tie and tie. It's Spearman, Majeski, 1-2. 0.3 of a second separate them at the moment. Spearman not letting the 91 get up on him, but these guys definitely pulling away together as Ryan Borges continues to sit in 3rd spot, almost a second back already. David Riendo, P4, PJ Sturgis in the top 5 at the moment. Casey Tucker, though, the LRM machine pushed up to the top side. Derek Holtzhausen going to make that pass for P6. Drop Tucker back to 7th, where that 28 had initially started from.
Yeah, right now, Derek Holtzhausen, kind of one of the lucky numbers we've been seeing all night. The people starting 20th. Guess where Derek Holtzhausen started?
Yeah, he did start 20th, and now he's worked his way all the way up into that top 10, almost to the top 5 right now as he works his way onto that number 57 of PJ Sturgis, all over his back bumper here as they exit the corner. So far I've seen tonight, everybody seems to be kind of relaxed, Evan, and wants to, it looks like at this point, ride around, get some laps, try to figure out their cars and try to figure out what those adjustments are going to want to make when they make their first pit stop.
And P20 seems to be the best spot to start, and if you're at the back, we've had a couple of guys go to victory lane so far this weekend from P20, and Holtzhausen in a different situation from the other Holtzhausen that I was looking at. I was talking about Kyle Holtzhausen, fastest in practice, still back in 14th after starting 16th. However, for Derek Holtzhausen, 21st in practice, he's making the moves, and now he moves into the top 5 with the pass on the 57 of PJ Sturgis.
Yeah, right now, he's having a pretty good night. Kyle, you know, he's up 2 spots from where he started, so he's not having a bad night. Maybe trying to pace himself a little bit, but right now, you know, a little bit more to go for Kyle to maybe say break into the top 10. We know he has a car. He's probably sharing that setup with Derek, so we know they're going to be fast. If Derek's up here now, we know that 787 machine's going to be fast and be up there towards the latter part of this race. Oh,
and
problem
spinning.
spinning.
The 1/5 mark.
42. Holy cow, he saved that. He got tagged. It looked like he got tagged going into turn 4 and was able to save it.
He's
Great
right back in
save
the
by
fight.
by Joe
Lattarello,
Lattarello.
no mercy at all. To the inside, it was the 25 of Todd Syke that makes contact. He hangs on to it. Didn't even have a lap to kind of cool things down because he found himself right back at a side-by-side fight. Not going to win any of that because he was stuck up on the outside of the racetrack. But Jason Williams and as well Kyle Holtzhausen going to make a move. You'll take a look at the replay though. The 42 machine of Joe Lattarello. Great piece of driving to keep that car on track, and he's right back on the attack now. Take a look to the inside of that 787. 2 wide, 2 rows deep for 13th on back in front of them. Jason Williams, he wants 12th spot from Derek Robinson. Not going to get it though that time in turn 2.
No, Robinson a little too tough right there, even on that outside lane. Got a great run off the corner. He's going to maintain that position, but that 42 car, Joe Lattarello, once he made that pass, now he's slipped up a little bit there in the corner. It looked like the 787 of Kyle Holtzhausen was going to get a run there on the inside. Able to hang on to it was Joe Lattarello, so he's looking real strong. Looks like he's got a fast car in the entry corner, but it looks like he's losing a lot of time on the exit.
And we go on board with Kyle Holtzhausen back in 15th position, the driver that bested the 30-minute warm-up session earlier this evening with a time of a 15:1. That bested anybody else's time in the official grid qualifying session as well. Earlier on in the week, obviously under the lights, a lot quicker than when you saw these guys qualify on Thursday night on LSRTV under the daylight here in Pensacola, Florida. That fight for P12 finally going to come to fruition. It's Williams to the inside of the racetrack, had the nose at the start-finish line. He'll get clear now down the back straightaway, and he takes over that number 12 spot away from the 8 of Robinson. And now I think Robinson almost getting stuck topside, has to watch from really getting freight train and falling backwards. Couple of shuffling inside of the top 5. David Riendo now falls to P5 because, well, Derek Holtzhausen passing 16 cars to this point. The driver that started in 20th up to 4th at the moment. Kevin Berg, we know he's fast to Coors Light machine. Very good car earlier tonight in the Pro Late models. Not the result that he wanted, though. He goes 25th to 7th already.
Yeah, I was watching him the last few laps. Right now he's getting a challenge on the outside from the 65 of Mark Gamick, but I've been watching him the last few laps. He's made little quick work of a bunch of guys here as of recently. Kevin Berg doing a great job here tonight, especially in this later part of this run. So obviously he's got a setup under that thing that's going to give him some speed as the tires wear off.
And how about up front? Ty Majeski, it looked like that he was all over Ty Spearman, guys, but the 92 getting it going for the driver that won the qualifying dash race on Thursday evening, now is leading the race by over 1.2 seconds in front of a two-time champion in Ty Majeski. So Majeski got to work around the lap traffic, so is Spearman. Now they're getting into the bulk of it, passing the 16 machine a couple of laps ago. They've also gone back around Barry Zellmer, and now Spearman, next driver on tap is Matt Bontempi. The 20 is the last driver on the lead lap in 24th position. So now, if this grid run continues to extend longer and longer, these lap cars, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Just getting into the thick of things as that 20 keeps to the bottom of the racetrack. He backs off the gas and waves that 92 on by. He lets Majeski go topside this time, making sure that he is in no way affecting the Lyrics leaders.
And, you know, Ty Spearman's got to be thinking in the back of his mind after what happened in the previous race there, after getting taken out of the lead from his teammate, actually, was Ty Majeski, got taken out of the lead when a lap car spun it off of 4. So that's got to be in the back of Spearman's mind. He's got to be super careful here not to throw away the huge lead he has over his teammate. 1.5 seconds Ty Spearman has over Majeski.
Things are getting fun. Look at the 65 of Mark Gamick trying to find a way by. They're 2 wide and lap cars in front, and we'll just take the middle. 3 wide to turn number 1 for Mark Gamick. He'll make the move. He brings the 99 to Kevin Berg with him. The 2 of Cody Thompson going to have to wait till they exit turn number 4 to duck down. Those 3 drivers, P7, 8, and 9, started 21st, 25th, and 24th. So as we said, early in these races is when you see the guys that have speed really starting to put it to them. Ryan Borges, guys, though, still missing a little bit on that 32. He's under attack by David Riendo after already Derek Holtzhausen had made the move on him for 3rd. So the 82 up to 3rd, Riendo back to 4th as Borges now falls to P5.
Yeah, Borges, obviously the long run is not helping his car. That team will have to make some adjustments when they do come down to pit road. Still falling. He's still holding good lap times. He's got a fast race car. Just obviously a little loose coming off these corners here. It's causing him to slip up just a bit, lose some positions on the racetrack, and you better be careful because there's a 57 car, PJ Sturgis, that's having a hell of a run right now, and he's made his all the way up to 6th, and he's trying to get up into the top 5.
Yeah, Sturgis continuing to apply the pressure. A lot of guys continue to move forward. A couple of guys, though, on the opposite end of that, having some problems. We've already mentioned Kevin Myers, Matt Rolfe, 2 guys from the top 10. Connection problems and then an accident issue, taking those 2 drivers out of the race early. Derek Robinson started 3rd. He's back in 14th position. Did a good job to hang on to that car to keep it on the racetrack, but did lose a lot of time in all of that. Casey Tucker and Todd Sutton kind of quiet. P10 and 11 right now. They started 7th and 9th, have slid back a little bit, but again, we're still well early off here at the Five Flag Speedway. 2 laps away from crossing the 1/3 distance mark in this one. They still have clean race cars, so I'd call it a successful start. A lot of guys really just trying to pace themselves, get through those 2 trips down to the pit lane before they really start to attack the track. Other guys, they're going right at it from the drop of the green flag, and you can tell who they are. And I'll tell you what, though, Ty Spearman, the number 92 machine, won the opening feature race on the weekend in Saturday afternoon's event for the SKs, trying to close things off here with the walk-off in the super lates. He is now 2 seconds in front of Ty Majeski.
And Majeski actually decided to put his foot down a little bit. He picked up a 10th there on his teammate Ty Spearman, so he's actually starting to pick up speed. But Derek Holtzhausen, he's also starting to pick up he's closed the gap between himself and Majeski. So look for that 82 machine. He might have something for the 91 car.
Lap 85 will go in the books this time by, and that sets you up for just about 165 laps still remaining for the Five Flag Speedway. We're 1/3 of the way through, though. The Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250 at the Five Flag Speedway. We'll step away for a brief moment and go LSRTV non-stop, so you don't miss a moment of the action. Back live with LSRTV in a moment. The 92 of Ty Spearman out front.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Back live, and you take a look at the accident at a turn number 4 that puts us back under the caution flag inside of the second of 2/3 in this event. Did Ty Spearman elects to not come down to the pit lane, but guys, contact with one of our fastest trucks out there, rather the fastest car, Stefan Marinac, won the Pro Late Models earlier on tonight. Did, well, not the step in the right direction after he gets caught up with a lap machine.
Yeah, it looked like just ran out of space there. It looked like 17 may just got tagged by 26 just a little bit. So just going to bring out the caution here. But looks like the only person on the lead lap who came down to get tires was the 42, and he came down to you, Gabe.
Yeah, he came down here in the pits, and he's still here now. He's leaving. I believe he took 4 tires on the pit stop, so some people are already choosing their strategies. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't think we're on the threshold right now for most of the leaders to pit. We should get a caution about 10 laps, maybe, just around halfway. I think you'll see every single car in the top 10, top 15, top 20. You'll see them on pit road, and that's when my job's going to pick up.
And we still avoid that halfway point by just a little bit, about 30 laps outside of being halfway home from the Five Flag Speedway. That, when the pit lane going to heat up, you'll see those guys come down. Most likely take all 4 tires at the same time if tonight's race strategy going to be anything like we saw earlier in the Pro Late Models, and then you kind of reset and you go from there. 22 drivers still on the lead lap at the moment. The race leader is not coming down to the pit lane. If you're Ty Majeski, Derek Holtzhausen, David Riendo, or Mark Gamick, you got to be thinking, where is the speed in Ty Spearman, who was only 17th fastest on the scoring pylon prior to the green flag tonight, but did start on pole. He came through big on Thursday, winning the qualifying dash, but quite the race machine he's got underneath.
As we head back green here, Ty Spearman once again to get a jump to the inside there. 91 maybe saving a little bit on the replay on the restart there, so his teammate could get down. But now Derek Holtzhausen going to dive the inside of the 70 of Davey Ariendo, and he's going to grab that third spot now. Riendo falls back to fourth, and right now the battle's for fifth as Mark Gamick kind of put his side into Ryan Borges and shot him up the track, so that's going to put Mark Gamick into fifth.
And that opens up the bottom for the LRM, the teammate car to Ryan Borges and PJ Sturgis, and as you would expect, they're not forcing the issue there. The 57 going to let that number 32 issue to Borges come down, so Borges P6, Sturgis P7. Behind them, not going to find any more love because you got the 58, but that's Casey Tucker, PJ Sturgis, and Ryan Borges. Those three drivers, team cars, all working together at the moment. They have to like where they're sitting at this instant as far as taking it easy on each other, not forcing any issues, because although again it's still early, we just passed lap number 100, and now we're back into our Saturday night feature, like less than 150 laps to go at the Five Flag Speedway. The action going to slowly start to pick up and pick up. The only comfortable feeling you can have is to have teammates around you, and for the most part tonight, it has been all the posse. However, we saw Explosive Motorsports make a big statement in the Pro Late models. Can we see those LRM guys come out?
Oh, we absolutely could see him come out. You can see any of these guys step up to the plate right now. Watching Jason Williams really drive his way through here in the 58 car. He just worked around Casey Tucker like he was standing still, and now he's pulled up to the back bumper of PJ Sturgis, and right now that 58 car looks real fast currently, and they did something real nice in that car for him to be this fast and late in the run. He's having a good run as he pulls right up on that back bumper here off of turn number 4.
They continue to apply the pressure. One car catches the outside fence just a little bit. That Jason Williams, nothing comes from that. The 57 got awfully close in front of him. Also, still 22 guys again on the lead lap. And a couple of cars in the fence. Trouble out of action with the 44. Paul Fugate turned around in turn 3. Caution is out, and somehow everybody will sneak and squeeze their way on through. Yellow out, though, for the Lions Club International 44. Top side on the 8 as we take a look at the LSRTV replay in just a moment. It's Derek Robinson down low. You'll see now 44 catches the fence. 99 right there. No room for error. And Berg, the one that sends that 44 in. No way he could have avoided him. Close call for the 54, the 96 top side. Good piece of driving by Marcus Lambert and Stephen Burnett to sneak through there.
Yeah, absolutely great piece of driving, but I gotta feel bad for Kevin Berg. He caught a little piece of that, and it just seems like as of late he's been getting what Andy like to call the wish he had gone fishing award. You know, just some bad luck right now for Kevin Berg. Hopefully he can make it back up here and mix it up with the leaders, but just tough luck these last couple races. But he's had such a fast car. I get the feeling he's gonna be back up here in no time, and we're gonna be talking about him up in the top 10 before too long.
Leaders still decide to not come down to the pit lane, though, Gabriel. I do see the 25 Todd Seip, one of the drivers coming down, albeit he was running in 20th spot back of the pack. He comes down, and it looks like they're going to take some fuel on board.
Yeah, that's all he did, Evan. He did take just fuel right there. Sounds like we're having problems with Gabe's mic right there, but he came down pit road, topped it off with fuel. Obviously, we talked about it early. These guys have to make at least 2 stops for fuel. Obviously, only 1 set of tires, though, so the strategy is definitely starting to play out. But the leaders decided we're already over 100 laps, and we figured they could only do probably about 100 to 125. So kind of shocked. Well, I mean, with all these cautions, they can run extra laps, obviously, but these guys got to be getting real close on fuel, and wouldn't it be something if half this field had to come down on the green flag?
They're 15 laps shy of the halfway point. They were graced in the Pro Late model feature with a yellow basically right at that point to make things very easy on all the teams strategy-wise. If that will be the case in this SLM feature, we are yet to know, but we are almost halfway there, and as we like to say, we start counting down instead of counting up, and that's when the intensity gets cranked up an extra notch every 10 or 15 laps or so. Lights on a pace car will go off this tie by, and we'll line them back up for an additional restart. Again, these drivers racing right now for $633 in the purse, 250 of which alone will go to the race winner. That's more than the entire purse for the Pro Late Model race earlier. The Pro Late Model purse was bigger than anything we saw Saturday night, but it is the main event as we race into the late hours now, Sunday evening on the East Coast. Still yet to determine who is going to walk away with really what every single driver that is in the field here right now has been waiting for. The 4 prior feature races, just a little bit of warm-up. The pace car going to dive down this time through, but again, the control car choosing the outside lane of the racetrack. It'll be Ty Spearman, Ty Majeski on the inside. Green flag flies, back underway we go, and no problem up high for the number 92. Majeski goes up. He makes sure that 70 of David Riendo doesn't challenge him for second. Can the battle for third be on Holtzhausen? Wants it to happen. 2 and nose, yes, to turn 3. 70 top side, the 82 on the bottom, side by side for the final step on the podium.
Great battle right there. We got a wreck, it sounds like, I think, on the back stretch. Looks like the 42 might have been involved, maybe the 16, but everybody's straight and keeps it going. So the battle's still up front here. Borges, he's right back in the middle of things here, too, in the front. We're right in front of these guys with Riendo on the outside. They're still battling side by side.
Outside, not a viable place to pass. We've seen a couple of guys be able to defend people topside and just not lose that spot, but really anytime we've seen that, it's because the guy down low struggling with the handling on their race car. Caution flag will fly, though, just as Borges gets those in front for 4th spot. Trouble in turn number 3 and 4, and it looks like, again, it's your Pro Late Model feature winner. Stefan Baronet caught up in an earlier accident with a lap car. This time, a car in front of him gets into the wall. That's Paul Fugate. Marinak checks up behind him, a car unable to check up, and it's Marinak who gets plowed by Brian Thompson. Thompson with a little bit of a damaged car, probably that attributing to part of the reason why he wasn't able to check up. 5 in the fence, Marinak in the fence also, and for a guy that just stole probably the craziest win on the year here, we've seen on LSRTV, Stefan Marinak is not having a good second half to his Sunday evening. Back-to-back cautions for the 26.
Yeah, he's had a rough night here tonight, Evan, at least in this feature. The one obviously a little bit early on had a great race and came home with the win. But sometimes you get that luck, sometimes you don't. An unfortunate deal for the number 26 of Stefan Marinak. Great job, great car. He's very fast, you know that, but just wrong place at the wrong time for a couple of these incidences here tonight.
I gotta say the parting of the Seas award's gonna go to Ian Lane here, and he was able to get through that wreck just barely. That was an amazing piece of driving by Ian Lane, not to get caught up in that. So a great piece of driving by him. Evan?
And if you were with us on Thursday, let's recap Super Late Model Qualifying Night from earlier on in the week. The Super Late Model Qualifying Night opened with time trials, single car runs, and a couple drivers laid down some surprising laps. Ryan Borges, Matt Rolfe, each holding the provisional pole for quite some time before the final driver, Ty Majeski, went out, stole the Fast Lap Award with a time of a 16.114, got $10 for the Fast Lap Award. However, when the top 10 cars from time trials were inverted to the qualifying dash, it was James Linkowitz who had initially qualified on pole position for this race until earning a disqualification after a confrontation earlier this evening. The big story in all of that was Ty Majeski, who was inverted to P10, lost the engine after he left the qualifying tape onto that one, ended up coming home in 9th in that, and after the qualifying dash, everybody else you see through 25th position on the grid tonight, they qualified through heat races.
Yeah, and that set up the field for this final big ol' race here. And, you know, the one person he was in one of the later heats, Derek Holtzhausen. He started P20th tonight. He's up to 3rd, and he's been able to basically outrun a lot of these LRM guys, some of the posse guys, but I haven't seen yet if he's been able to keep up with the top 2 ties right now. We'll have to see as the race goes on. Can he maybe put up a challenge against the 2 ties?
1 through 10 were locked in on time, 11 through 25 to the heat races, and 26 through 35 on the grid earlier tonight qualified in through the last chance qualifier right before we got back at it. Still 23 drivers remain. Coming up to the halfway point. Green flag flies, back underway we go. Ty Spearman will cross the start-finish line. He leads us back down into 1 and 2. It's Majeski in second, Holtzhausen on the inside for third, and Borges, familiar place, unfortunately for the 32, stuck up on the top.
Yeah, stuck up out on the top side right now. There goes Holzhausen around him. Now Riendu's got the preferred line. He's going to try to get around him. Here comes Mark Gamick now in the 65, pushes up the track just a bit. That's going to slow him up. That's going to allow Borges back in line right in front of Gamick as the 82 right there just checks up in the corner. Almost everybody plows into each other right there. So a little checkup by the 82 of Derek Holzhausen as he sits third off of turn 2.
And he gets to the inside because the 65 of Gamick, he outside the wall there in turn 4, kind of smacked it coming off the corner. Pretty good lick, checked him up. The 787 got to the bottom. You see that 65, not the best handling on the outside of the racetrack. So the 63 Monster Energy machine, Hunter Combs going to get on through. The LRM machine just inside of him. PJ Sears, look at the move, the 65. He cuts the nose off of Jason Williams' mad speed entry to get down in line. Thankfully, Williams would catch him a break for the moment. Now drives back down to the inside of the racetrack, side by side. It's for 9.
Yeah, great move. And now Jason Williams is going to get past Mark Gamick there. And now the move's going to be for Derek Robinson. He's next in line to try and get down and get past Mark Gamick. And now, just as Robinson starts to get past, it's Joe Letterello. It's going to be close right now. Nope, not going to happen. 65 up the track a little bit, and the 8 slowed down. So Letterello now trying to take the spot away from the 65 Mark Gamick. Mark Gamick here just hoping he can get
contact,
down.
Ty Majeski, the number 91 machine from second spot. He gets moved up and out of the way in the number 2 position. A bobble into the corner as Derek Holtzhausen began to apply the pressure. 91 gets loose, the 81 a small tap, and Majeski slides up the hill. He drops back to P8. Now problems in turns 1 and 2. Caution flag is out. And around this time, it looks like the number 16 of Tom Hamika is sideways. That's the caution flag. We'll take a look at the Ty Majeski incident first. Again, that one for second spot, guys, dropping the 2-time ARCA champion back to P8. They all hang on to it, and it was Tom Hamika, the second replay you'll take a look at, gets sideways out of turn 4, saved it once, twice, 3 times. Finally, that car spun out enough for the sim to trigger the yellow flag, and that's why we slow things down now, just past halfway home.
Yeah, but I'm going to give the Tanner Faust Drift Award to Tom Hamika for that one. Was able to keep the nose pointed forward, didn't spin the car completely out, so some great driving for Tom Hamika as we have some cars hitting pit road, Gabe.
Yeah, the 82 Derek Holzhausen, he's taking the time to get to the pits. Right side's up on the car. Let's see if they run around to the other side of the car. I believe left side's going up. I'm watching the rest of pit road. It's hard doing this by myself. And 82 is going to leave pit road. Let's see where he's going to end up. 91, Ty Majeski is going to take his time. He's going to get to the end of pit road. I believe he took 2 tires. That's kind of hard to...
It'll be a 12:07 for Ty Majeski, going to get back out there on track. Not everybody, though, cooperating with the same idea of everybody coming down to the pit lane. Ty Spearman stays out. I know Holtzhausen, one of the drivers first to come down pit road. Kyle Holtzhausen stays out. That's the big jump that I was looking for the Holtzhausen Racing 787 machine in P4. But you got guys now like David Riendo, Ryan Borges. Problem is, if you stay out at this point, I would almost feel like it's going to be difficult for these guys to come down. Now, everybody's car probably handling a little bit differently, I would imagine, Andy, but if those guys pit, they get tires. If you come down, now you're going to be behind them. That's an interesting spot, and we've seen when these races get down to the final 50 laps, a lot of guys care a lot more about track position than how quick that race car is flat out on speed, because it really gets to a lot of a caution flag confetti there at the end, and it's very interesting. So it's interesting for Ty Spearman to stay out. It wouldn't be the first time he'd go start to finish in a feature race this weekend without pitting, but it is an interesting call to see these guys go 50-50. I would have thought they were all coming down.
Yeah, he's got to be really close on fuel, Ty Spearman. I mean, he must be banking on another caution within the next 20, 25 laps here, because obviously he does have to come down pit road. He has been shutting that car off as they coast under caution, so he's saving as much as he can, but a bunch of guys behind him stayed out also. You look at the 63 there of Hunter Combs, who finished second in the race earlier on this evening. So a bunch of guys stayed out. So there's going to be some more guys that are going to have to come down with them. So we'll see how it shakes out. But strategy is definitely going to come into play here.
And again, we've passed lap number 125 inside of 125 laps to go now. Pace car down, green flag back in the air, and Ty Spearman, again, no problems. This time to turn 1 and 2 in front of Ryan Borges and Dave Riendo, the driver out of Club New England, stuck topside. Borges going to make the pass. The 787 of Kyle Holtzhausen looks to the bottom of the racetrack, just behind him. Hunter Combs sits in the catbird seat trying to take a look at which lane he wants to go with. Survey says bottom, the place to be.
And we saw kind of in the back there on the restart there, the 25 of Todd Seif did not get going in front of the 91 of Ty Majeski. Those guys behind him had pitted here. Now Majeski kind of catching back up to the pack, but they lost a little bit of time. So Holtzhausen, Majeski, a bunch of these guys who came down pit road, they have a little bit more drive. The 8 gets sideways. Another great save there. This time Derek Robinson able to keep it safe, and actually I don't think he lost a spot.
Kyle Holtzhausen just got punted by Davey Riendo in turn 4. Talk about the chrome horn coming out. Caution flag will fly behind these guys, though. It's down to turn number 1. Everybody tries to get things checked up to avoid Russell Berry, who's parked sideways in the middle of the track. This caution drops at lap number 138. However, Cisco, that 84 of Berry, again, not the first driver that had problems. He's in that secondary incident. The problem starts with the 42 of Joe Latarello. He just cuts down, it looks like, on the 99 of Kevin Berg. Berg, with nowhere to go, ends up hooking that 42 around. 42 did a good job of saving it. Problem is, as you take a look at the replay, doesn't matter if you save a car when you drop down to about 50 miles an hour in the middle of the turn when they're 2 wide, 5, 6, 7 rows deep behind you. It's extremely difficult for any of those guys to find a way through. And Ty Majeski, he picks up a piece of damage. PJ Sturgis, the 82 machine, also some of the big names involved in that accident.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. You know, we saw Majeski, he was able to do it in the truck race. He had a ton of damage, was able to keep going. As we take a look at the LSR replay now of that wreck there, but just nowhere to go really for a lot of these cars. Couldn't slow down in time, but Derek Holtzhausen, Ty Majeski, these guys both have damage. Cody Thompson, the 2 car, he's got damage. So a bunch of these cars that were kind of running up there who pitted here kind of stuck there because they got stuck in the back, and that back and kind of in the back of the pack, almost like a plate track. The further back you are, the more in the danger zone you are.
Ty Spearman elects to stay out again, and really soon going to be inside of the final 100 laps in this Brennigan.com 4-to-fall brawl. So again, the longer you stay out, the longer you're digging yourself into a pit, rather, as far as what options you still have available if you want to come back down to the pit lane to get service, if you are indeed going to actually stay out while you're in the spot right now. You have the track position. We still have 23 cars, though, Andy, on the lead lap to this point. Saw 2 good stretches of green flag runs in the opening 1/2 of this race. Now at the halfway point, a couple of cautions, but with still 100 laps left on the board, plenty of time to get these guys in for a couple more green flag stretches.
Oh yeah, there's tons of time for that, and there's tons of time for strategy to come into play with the pit stops itself. So eventually Ty Spearman's going to have to come in. He's going to come get his tires, fill up with fuel, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out as far as who's going to end up staying out, and if by Ty Spearman staying out now and having the fresher tires towards the end, if he'll be able to get through the traffic, because we see right now Majeski having some issues trying to work his way through the traffic.
The lights go off on the pace car. You take a look at the top 10 as they sit right now, close it in on the final 100 laps, final 50 miles in this super late model feature race. Ty Spearman this time electing to choose the inside of the racetrack. All night long it had been topside, maybe though hoping that he can keep Ryan Borges out from behind him. Borges has the team support in LRM. The pace car going to drive down to the safety of pit road this time, and it is now in the hands of the 92. Waits about a second, he's on the loud pedal, green flag flies, and back at it again from Pensacola, Florida. Spearman down to turns 1 and 2. No problems all night long on the restarts. This time, though, it's Borges stuck topside. One time he's outside, the next time he's inside. This time, though, the wrong lane that Borges finds himself in. Already down 1 spot, now 2, and real tight at a turn 4. Got squished up there by the 70. They avoid contact, enough for Combs to get to the bottom.
Yeah, and now Dave Riendo kind of pinched him up there, and Dave Riendo gets in the wall a little bit there. Hunter Combs now going to slide past Borges. That's going to put Borges back in 5th, I believe now. Yes, he's going to be back in 5th. So right now, as it looks like Derek Robinson may be trying to get a nose in there, but a little bit of checkups going right now in the back of the pack. Casey Tucker comes in on Ty. Nice brakes because Ty was able to get it slow. There was almost a big wreck there if they weren't paying attention.
And that 70 machine, one lapse in focus as well off the corner. It opens up the door for the Monster Energy machine, and through goes Hunter Combs. So Combs back up to 3rd after starting in 23rd at the beginning of the night, just behind him, the number 32 of Ryan Borges. Borges now back down to the bottom side. He wants to pay the favor back to the 70 after it was Riendo who participated in that freight train that cost the number 32 machine 4 spots off of the drop of the green flag on this most recent American Ethanol restart. Derek Robinson joining the party back down low, and just like that, Riendo goes from going forward to going backwards. He falls to the bottom end of the top 6. In all of that, though, the top 2 not having any of it. Ty Spearman 7/10 in front of Kyle Holtzhausen, and Holtzhausen almost a second away from Hunter Combs and company. The top 2 drivers fastest on track, and they're showing it right now. This time by 100 laps to go. Ty Spearman continues to lead out front.
100 laps to go, and the laps are clicking away from when he's going to have to actually come down pit road. Also, it would be something pretty interesting if he was to have to come down under green flag conditions, because we know how slow these crews are with these cars as far as changing tires and filling them up with fuel. It takes forever in these cars, and on a track like this, when you're running 16-second laps, you can go down pretty quick in a hurry. He'll probably end up going down 3 laps or so, maybe even 4.
Riendo had just gotten down in line. Now he's back up top. The 58 of Jason Williams going to take P5. Derek Holtzhausen will take P6. And in 7th spot, Derek Robinson to the bottom of the racetrack. That now the fight on track for 7th. The Passport Chevrolet down low will get the position. 70 wants to not leave the door open. Ty Majeski will force him to leave it open. The 91 inches off the pit road wall and down to the apron in turn 1. Slides up out of 2. He gets clear. Now the 70, a shot to the back of Ty Majeski. That opens up the door. Mark Gamick to the inside, and the 65 car now takes P9.
And all 3 of those cars look like they've been a little bit rough on each other. All 3 of those cars have a little bit of right front damage, so already damage starting to show here. We still have 100 laps to go, but right now Derek Holtzhausen trying to make his way through the field as 58's going to try and dive bomb the number 63 of Hunter Combs. Combs came all the way back from 23rd position. He's run 4th right now, but here goes Williams. He's going to dive to the inside, and he's going to make a power move right there on the 63, and he's going to take over 4th.
They can't decide who wants to sit where. The top 4 through 8th positions or so, they have not stayed the same for more than 5 laps, I think, since the last time we went back green off of a caution flag. It's Combs' turn to be stuck up top. Going to lose another spot as Mark Gamick makes the move. There's a couple of fights going on like this outside the top 15, but obviously inside the top 10, a whole lot more on the line. The objective for these guys out of the 35 that started is get a top 20. The top 20 drivers are the guys that will get a share of the $633 payout. Obviously, you want to be the first one across the start-finish line. That's $250 minimum to the driver that walks away on top. Additional prizes also available for things like the hard chargers and such. So Spearman looking pretty good right now. I can say this though, guys, with 100 laps to go, we have not seen somebody lead the final third of a race without problem. I don't think we've seen somebody lead at the halfway point go on to win all weekend. It has been a very bad spot to be up front. It has been a really unpredictable race weekend. Ty Spearman hoping that the race weekend ends on a rather softer and more controlled note for the number 92, because he by far and large the best driver here at the moment. You know, you talk about some other guys that have been very strong. You have to mention Ty Majeski with the damaged race car. Couple of guys back there. PJ Sturgis got a little bit torn up also. David Riendo, Marta back in traffic also. But at this point, it is old Ty Spearman. Fight for second on the racetrack right now to turn 3. It is going to be the number 58 Mad Speed Racing entry. Jason Williams to the bottom, slides up out of 4. A textbook pass for that machine. He's going to be able to get around the 787. Kyle Holtzhausen will drop back to 3rd spot.
And Jason Williams is a name that popped up a little bit in the Pro Late Model race But actually, it wasn't him. His teammate was actually able to run his setup and run really well. But Jason Williams, he was running up front for a little while, but now he's shown he's got a heck of a setup, and he's going to try and catch Ty Spearman here. But I believe Ty Spearman still needs to hit pit road before this thing's over.
Well, we saw those guys swing down to the pit lane at the halfway point, but not everybody did so. Ty Spearman lucked out the fact that the guys that came down pit road, it was almost 50-50. If a lot of drivers come down pit road, he doesn't have that buffer zone in which there's him up front with the tires that he started the race on, and then there's quite a few guys behind him in that same boat. If there's not a lot of guys behind him that have the same tires he has, those guys on 4 tires would absolutely eat him up. But in a lucky position, really, as the leader, if you pit, everybody could stay out. If you stay out, everybody could pit. Luckily for Ty Spearman, he's in a position where he had that buffer to now give himself a 1.6 second advantage in front of those guys behind him, at least to this point. Still a long way to go, though, from the Five Flag Speedway. 10 laps shy of crossing over into the final 1/3 of this race as we work right now at 168, and Spearman got some lap traffic he's going to have to navigate. First, he'll hit the 20, and sideways in front of him, look out, it's Jeff Hogard, and oh my gosh, for the 3rd time tonight, somebody almost with problems in front of your race leader. The 50 hangs on to it, but I'm sure Ty Spearman, I'm pretty sure he held his breath for a moment there.
I just came over the whisper just now and just went, oh no, because it looked like we were going to have a replay to the Pro Late models there, but the 50 able to keep the nose straight there. Another great save there by the number 50, but Ty Spearman lost a little bit of time there as the LSR replays. We can take a look at that now, but Ty Spearman had to slow it down just a little bit, and that just put a little bit more pep in the number 58 of Jason Williams. He's got a little bit more pep in his step now, because I think he's starting to smell that 92.
He can smell blood in the water after starting in 11th. He runs second right now. The gap just 1.1 seconds. Obviously, Spearman got well out of the gas because he was not taking anything for granted there when that lap machine got sideways in front of him. Checked it up, took the easy way around. It cost him 0.7 of a second, but the good thing is because he had the gap, you can do that. If Spearman has Williams on his bumper going into that incident, Spearman may not be able to lift, and if he can't lift, then that can be a lot worse if you're trying to force your way through a car that doesn't have complete control. Spearman knows the gap. He knows that he was able to back it off and play it safe there, but he is also well and aware. The spotter letting him know 1.1 seconds the gap, and now 1 second flat between Ty Spearman and Jason Williams, guys. How about the number 58 machine maybe trying to get that Toyota in victory lane by the end of the evening? He is putting up a late race charge here from the Five Flag Speedway.
Yeah, he's putting up a great charge right now because he's actually closing in on Ty Spearman. So something they did in that car, in that 58 car, because he's definitely on the move right now. Of course, Ty Spearman has been out there this whole race on that set of tires, so that could also have something to do with it at the same time as now the gap's shrunk down to under 1 second to the lead. So Ty Spearman loses some time right now, but it could be a product of some lap traffic and also some old tires.
Problems at a turn number 4. It's going to be a close call. One driver into the inside wall. It's Tom Hamika, the 21st place driver. Last car on the lead lap, sideways at a 4. He's into the inside fence. The car never goes around, though, Gabriel. You got a good look at that as that car came around the front stretch again. That was the 16 of Tom Hamika. He got sideways, but no caution. He stayed green.
Yeah, I think his saving grace was that inside pit wall, because if he hadn't hit that, at least from my vantage point, we'd be having a caution, or I would have gotten hit by a car on pit road. So lucky that pit wall was here for him.
You'll see the replay there, and again, the pit road wall, a big factor in keeping us green for one of the first times tonight, as it keeps that car righted the right direction, and we stay underway, stay to the bottom. Nobody really majorly affected, guys, but it is on for the race lead. Ty Spearman, he better hope that that number 26 of Stefan Baranek, the driver that he just put 1 lap down, makes it difficult for Jason Williams. Well, that's not going to be the case. The Machwood Racing graphics machine stays well and out of the way. The 58 Toyota almost down to just just half of a second. He'll lose a tenth in that exchange of lap traffic, had to modify his line into the corner. A little bit of a lesser arc in with that lap machine topside, but Williams is closing. And don't forget about Mark Gamick, the 65. He's shoving into the picture. Fourth position, 1.3 seconds back. Ty Majeski not done, so Ty Spearman on those old tires maybe starting to ail with them.
As we see him starting to fall into the clutches, the 58 getting a little bit closer, but definitely the 65 and the 91 have gotten a lot closer since this run has started. Right now, Majeski all over the back bumper of Mark Gamick. We might see a little bit of a bumper here in about 1 or 2 laps. And no, he's going to dive the inside. Mark Gamick going to go up the track. Ty Majeski going to try and make it work on the inside. Ty came over the radio. Caution's out, though. We got a caution on the speedway.
Oh, in front of the leaders, big hit after the yellow flag is out. The 98 of Ian Lane is junked, and that one, again, not all that far clear of your race leader, Ty Spearman. The leaders are going to be able to get through. It's the number 20 machine. It'll be a single car incident to start. Matt Bontempi started this race in 27th at the time of the yellow, running in 24th position, 3 laps down. You see the replay now, gets in there a little bit hot, gets too close to the apron, gets well below the white line, and at that point, there's not a whole lot hope of keeping that back end of the race car underneath you. He pushes up. A great job of driving by Dale Owen to not get into him. Unfortunately, after that, everybody started checking up, and there was just no room. And once Bontempi started to move down the hill, he goes hit pretty hard, as we mentioned, by that 98 of Ian Lane. So we talk about forcing yourself into a strategy. Ty Spearman is going to have to give up the race lead in this at lap number 186. Gabriel, he's down in front of you, coming down to the pit lane, most likely going to take those 4 tires.
Yep, I'm sitting down here in this pit stall. I'm watching the crew go around to the right side of the car. They're going to jack it up. Interesting to see if they're going to use 2 tires to get out in front of everybody, just in case anybody else takes 2. They're going to drop the jack on the right side of the car, see if they go around to the left side. Majeski takes 2, and so does the 8 car. Left side goes up on the number 92. It's going to be a 4-tire pit stop. He's going to use all of his tires. It'd be interesting to see if he can get out. He's going to be the 3rd car off pit road.
And that's 4 tires for the 92. Borges with 4 tires also, but I believe with Ty Majeski taking 2 guys, that's the 2nd time that we've seen the 91 come down, take 2 right side tires, so now he also is out. In theory, that may give an advantage to the guys that come down and take 4 tires.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be interesting here. You know, Ty Majeski took 2 earlier. He was pretty fast. But the 58 right now, Jason Williams, I believe he's already pitted, so he might be good to go on gas here. So an interesting call by the 58. Is there enough of a buffer zone between him? I mean, between him and Majeski, the first car down pit road, we have the 65 of Mark Gamick, the 42 of Joe Letterello, and the 29 of Dale Owen. Is that enough of a gap there to keep Majeski at bay? I don't really know.
Well, we talked earlier when it was out in front, Ty Spearman, of that buffer zone that he had, where the guys that stayed out with him, that's how many cars he had, back to the guys that had taken 2 tires earlier. Well, now Ty Spearman on the other end of that. The number 92 is the highest running driver with 4 tires in 9th. Derek Holtzhausen, Todd Sipe, Derek Robinson, Ty Majeski, P5 through P8. Majeski leads that next group of cars with 2 right side tires. The 2nd time he has taken 2 right sides tonight, so he no longer has any available tires in the pit stall left if he wants to be able to come back down. This is all he has. So in front of them, it's Lattarello and Owen, P4, P3, Gamick, and race leader Jason Williams, who are pretty much, I believe now, done on their tires. Can they hold off 8 drivers if you're talking about to the first car with 4? Can you hold off 3 if you're looking back to Ty Majeski, who's going to be working everything he can out of those 2 tires? The pace car down, green flag back in the air we go. Williams sticks to the bottom of the racetrack to turn at number 1. 58 will lead us this next time around. 60 laps to go. Joe Lattarello, he'll get 2nd from Mark Gamick.
The 8 got shot there out of 2. So a great piece of driving by Derek Robinson.
Oh,
able
not
to keep
done
it
yet.
straight.
Oh, he's up high, 3 wide. Borges in the middle, 70 car down low. They hang on. Now big accident in front of them. It's Ty Spearman, the number 92 machine, hard into the outside wall. The big one strikes down to turn 1 at lap 191. And a lot of these guys, their nights will come to a close. It all starts with the number 25 of Todd Sipe. Sipe catches the fence in P8 in front of Ty Spearman. Spearman on 4 tires. He was hustling. 92 to the inside of the racetrack, and they spin out. Spearman goes up the track, and he gets plowed. Ryan Borges in the accident. The 57 is in the accident. Fugate, almost every single name you can think of outside of the top 5 are wrecked out. And now, forget about those guys with 4 tires because they're junked. Is this Ty Majeski's race to win now? Because a lot of those guys that were fast might be back down to the pit lane or even on the hook because that was a huge accident.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge. That was 11 cars by our account in that accident. That's huge. And especially the 92 now. He was so fast, he led for so long. He's out of this thing. So, man, this is going to be interesting here. But Derek Holzhausen, you know, he was catching our leaders before that round of pit stops. He's still good. I don't see a whole lot of damage on that number 82, and we know he came down and took tires. So I believe he's going to be maybe another car to look for, as well as the 91 of Majeski, and the 29 of Dale Owen. Both of, I think all those guys, I don't know, we might have to look and see who's going to be strong here.
Gabriel, we were listening earlier, and especially last night, the different things that these guys were using to bang out the sheet metal on those cars. Baseball bats, sledgehammers. Well, it's out in full force. A lot of guys limp to the pit lane. Borges, Thompson, Sturgis, Marinac, and company.
Yeah, in addition to the baseball bat and the sledgehammers and stuff, I believe I just saw a former NFL linebacker stepping on the hood of a few cars trying to beat them back in.
It's about the only way it'll get back in shape.
Yeah, if you're looking to go back to the NFL Combine, just come to a short track and just ask if you can have a job.
And I'll tell you what, the thing I love about short track racing under the lights, and it's Sunday night, so it's close enough, guys, is that with bent sheet metal becomes bent feelings. Although it is a sim, there is a lot of money on the line here tonight, and I can guarantee you there's a lot of drivers who we probably should avoid talking to after this one. I'm sure the radio on a couple of those guys, Andy, when that incident happened, was a little bit not safe for the broadcast.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we don't broadcast the radio right there, but man, just an unfortunate thing right there. And, you know, we saw Ty Majeski have that, well, I wouldn't say opportunity, but when he was back in, after he made his pit stop, he was back there in that Hornets nest of cars and a couple times had to dodge a couple. It got a little bit of damage, not too bad. But then you got the 92 now finally leading the whole race, decides to come down and make his pit stop because he had to. Gets back out on the track and just nowhere to go. He's got tons of right side damage on that car. I mean, the door's pushed in, everything's just pushed in. So a tough break right there for the 92. But we'll see what he can do here and see if he can not. He's still on the lead lap. So with the green flag now back in the air, we'll see how far he can make his way back up to the front.
And Jason Williams, he's enjoying the clean air. No problems for the 58. The 42 of Joe Letterello, side by side for a second. Doesn't force the issue, though, with Mark Gamick. He gets off the throttle, ducks down in line to the bottom into turn 3. That way, the top 3 single file out. I'll tell you what, Ty Majeski should be in 8th or 9th. He was trapped on the outside, but a power move around the 29 of Dale Owen. Majeski will hang on to 4th. He is now the first driver in the running order with 2 fresh tires off of the second most to recent caution flags. Behind him, there's Derek Holtzhausen, Davey Riendo back up into the conversation in the number 70 machine. Dale Owen falls to 7th. It's Thompson, Robinson, and Sipe inside the top 10. Just 13 drivers left on the lead lap, and this next time by 50 laps to go from Five Flags Speedway.
And Riendo's going to look to the inside of Holtzhausen, spins him. Caution is out. Looks like Riendo tried to get to the inside there, and the 82 thought he was clear, and that's going to bring the caution out.
Holtzhausen gets rolling. Tom Hamika hits him after the yellow flag flies. The caution is out, and the 82 of Holtzhausen obviously not happy. Throttling up to the pack. I was keeping an eye to see if he was going to look for somebody, but the caution flag is out. The 70 to the bottom of the racetrack. There's so many accidents like this as you take a look at the replay, Andy. It's so difficult to place blame because Holtzhausen goes into the corner. There's a car length of room. Now, if the car's, 8 feet wide, it wasn't more than 8 feet and 2 inches, but there was a car length there. You're inside of the final 50 laps. You have to expect the guy behind you to go. The 70 goes down to the inside just as that 82 comes back down. They both make contact, and it's the 82 of Holtzhausen who gets the worst end of that. I believe the 2 and the 16 may pick up a little bit of extra damage in that one after the yellow flag. Holtzhausen is forced down to the pit lane, and now they're starting to drop like flies.
Yeah, this is short track racing at its finest. I mean, if you come into this race expecting not to have a scratch or a dent or some sort of imperfection on that car, then you weren't out here racing. So we're definitely starting to see the racing ramp up. Probably the temperatures in the guys' helmets is starting to creep up into dangerous areas. We're into the money part of this race. I mean, it's time to go, and a lot of these guys really starting to push the issue where they'd give a little bit early on in the race. Now's not the time. Now's the time to get this thing done, get up to the front, and try to get yourself in position to maybe capitalize like we saw in the first race earlier tonight, where the third place driver actually ended up coming up with the win on that final lap. So it's time to go, and these guys know it. And there's a few of them now that have taken hard times right now, and they're now sitting in the garage getting repairs done.
Yeah,
and
Andy,
the number comes down to 12 on the lead lap. Cody Thompson, the final driver on the lead lap. There's still a lot of guys out there that still have a chance of making it to the end, but a lot of them, Gabriel, back down with you on the pit lane, continuing to try to just get those cars in some sort of aerodynamic shape to make it to the end.
Yeah, Andy, you were talking about the temperature inside the helmets coming up. I believe last time the 92-time Spearman was on pit road, I believe the pit crew drilled a hole in his helmet to let the steam out. But yeah, a lot of these guys, they're just trying to stay in it. With 50 laps to go, there's $200 on the line here. I'm not expecting too much of a give and take.
I can tell you there'll be a lot of give and not a whole lot of take here, because these guys are going to be at each other's throats inside of the final 50. It'll be 45 more circuits around the home of the Snowball Derby, Pensacola, Florida, the Five Flag Speedway, to determine the winner in the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250, the super late model feature and finale to the 2015 SARA Fall Brawl. Pace car down and away. What happens this time? Back and away we go. Williams again elects to take the inside of the racetrack, has yet to be challenged to turn one. He takes over the race lead by far and large. It's Gamick and Lattarello fighting for second. Owen on the inside of Majeski outside. They fight for fourth, and Gamick will let Lattarello through for second. Gamick takes third. Majeski takes fourth.
Majeski doing a great job right now. He's all over the back bumper of Gamick, and all three of those guys right there beating and banging. But look who has crawled back up into the top five. That 92 of Ty Spearman. He's now on the back bumper of the 91 of Majeski. Now he's back into the picture. We know he's got a fast car. That little bit of damage, hopefully he can get himself back up through there. But what a great job by him for a recovery.
Yeah, that 92 machine is back up right now in P5. How is that car still running? Still with those four tires. The obvious damage on that race car going to help that advantage that he had. It'll hurt him just a little bit, but it'll make it not as bad as it could have been. He's out contact 42. Joe Lattarello. He'll get turned from second spot. Mark Gamick hard into the outside wall. The 65 trying to limp to the apron. Caution flag will now fly. Trouble down the front straightaway. Derek Holtzhausen in the number 82 machine gets turned around. That will be the official cause for the caution flag, but I was just gonna say that these guys are about to go at it, because Spearman and Majeski both feel like they should win this race. In front of them, though, the 65 gets into the left rear of the 42. Lattarello breaks sideways, and Majeski into the back of the 65. That shoots that car dead right to the fence, and Majeski and Spearman jump up to second and third.
And I think that was the last thing Jason Williams wanted to see, because now he looks in his mirror and Ty Majeski and Ty Spearman are right there. That was the last thing Williams wanted to see, because he's going to be under fire now from those two posse cars. Oh boy, he's got to be starting to pick at those fingernails, because, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
We get set for the final 35 laps. We'll step away for one final moment and come back for the race through the checkered flag. You're watching the Brennigan.com Fall Brawl 250 on LSRTV, the home of the 2015-2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Back for the restart. We welcome you back live to the virtual Five Flag Speedway. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Cisco Scarmuza, along with you in the broadcast booth. Gabriel Wood on the pit lane and Laura Lawson in the production hauler. 6 days of racing and 2 days of feature races come down to this. It is the final 35 laps of the 2015 SARA Fall Brawl Spectacular, the largest sim racing short track event on the 2015 calendar, about to come to its culmination here with Jason Williams trying to finish the deal off. It will be a restart with exactly 35 laps to go. The problem is, well, you have a two-time ARCA champion on your top side in Ty Majeski. You have the fastest driver all night long and one of the best drivers all weekend long in Ty Spearman behind you, and a whole lot of other guys who are hungry for a $250 check for the first place finisher tonight, 4th, 5th, 6th, through all the way to 12th position. The base car gets down. What can the 58 do? Green flag flies back and away we go. He'll get clear. Big question is, what happens in the race for a second? It'll be Spearman inside on Majeski in turns 1 and 2. A top side, though, for the 91 machine. Is that enough of a run? No. Battle continues to turn 3.
That's a great battle right now, but we know that 91 of Majeski has a great car. He's been able to make some passes on the outside, and he's holding serve currently right now as they come out of turn number 2. Ooh, the 92 gets in, Spearman gets into the apron just a little bit. It's going to open the bottom side. Nobody able to take advantage. Borges looked, but he couldn't make anything happen this time by. Majeski, though, he's going to move himself up into that second spot, trying to reel in the leader.
You know that 91's fast when he was starting to pass you on the outside of the racetrack, Cisco. That's what Spearman saw. He tried to cheat that apron just a little bit. Got squirrely, checked up those guys behind him. Won't fall below 3rd. Borges to 4th. Davey Riendo back up to P5. But Ty Majeski, 0.3 of a second. That's the gap between him and Jason Williams. 31 laps to go this next time around.
And Dale Owen got kicked to the outside there on the restart. He's sliding back. He's already out in the top 5. But, right now, Jason Williams, the one thing he did not want to see is that two-time ARCA champ in his mirror catching him. That 91 car, we know he's fast. Is Jason going to be able to hold him at bay for the last bit of this race?
Problems for the Sun drop entry. The 50 of Jeff Hogard losing the engine, forced down to the pit lane that time by. His night will come to a premature close. They fight up for the race lead. Now we're back in 3rd. That 92 of Spearman may just be out of gas. Borges makes the move to take P3. David Riendo follows him through, so the 70 car back up to 4th spot, and your pole sitter now has to slide back to P5. Ty Spearman is there. The question now becomes, how aggressive do you get? The answer to that was they're going to give every single thing they have if they want to win it. We saw that in the Pro Late models. What does Ty Majeski do, though? He's got just above 25 laps to find his way around one final car. He started P8, caught in problems early, came down to the pit lane. He elected to take 2 sides of right side tires 2 times over the evening, trying to finish this one out. Back to the bottom he goes. That gap just half a car length. Don't look now, guys, but Borges, he wants to get into the mix as well. 3rd and 4th are closing.
Yeah, they're closing real fast right now onto those front 2 guys. I'm not sure if it's Williams slowing these guys down or if just those cars have turned on the juice here. Oh, as Majeski gets into the apron, that's going to slow him down. Here comes Borges now for 2nd. He's going to look to the inside. He's got the position coming up turn 4. That 91, though, still tough on the outside. It's going to be tough. Borges trying to make it work. The 70 of Riendo, he's trying to push him through. Borges finally clears him off for 2.
Can that be the mistake that Ty Majeski makes that keeps him from another checkered flag on the weekend? It's going to put the 32 machine up to 2nd, give it to Ryan Borges, give number 3 spot to David Riendo, and now back in 4th spot is Ty Majeski. These guys are absolutely going at it. The top 5, multiple seconds in front of everybody else, and Spearman inside the top 5, falling off of the back of the train also. So the top 4 duking it out for $250. Yes, you're going to get a share of the additional $400 that's left over if you don't win this race, but who doesn't want the $250 check? Right now, contact for the 2nd spot. Riendo's up into the outside wall after he got Borges loose. Everybody hangs on. The 91 of Majeski jumps up to 3rd. Riendo is able to hang on to it. He falls to 4th, and caution flag flies.
That caution's going to be for the number 42 of Joe Letterello. Looks like he got tagged once again by the 25, same song, second verse. And he's going to get spun up into the outside, collected a couple more cars, a little bit of damage. But he's going to bring out the caution, and it's going to make this thing it's just going to turn that temperature up to 12. We were at 11. It's at 12 now.
And that's on a scale out of 10, I do believe. That 42 was at a good spot, though. Running in P6, 25 goes to the bottom. Letterello gave him the inside. He didn't give him much more room than he needed to. Unfortunately for him, Todd Sipe in a 25 machine, really didn't push up all that much. They just meet each other in turn 1. Sends that 42 car around for the ride, and then collected in that accident. One of the faster cars all night long in Hunter Combs. Behind him, the 787 machine involved. Kyle Holtzhausen gets a piece of that accident. So another caution flag inside of a battle inside the top 10 will slow us down and bridge us over now to the LSRTV. 20 to go. It's Jason Williams, Ryan Borges, Ty Majeski, David Riendo. 1, 2, 3, 4. We wanted to make this a Jason Williams, Ty Majeski fight. That's what we thought it would be. Ryan Borges, though, showing us you can't count him out. David Riendo showing us the exact same thing. So, on the spot, guys, who's going to win this race inside of 20 laps to go? And I'll get Gabriel, your opinion first.
Oh boy, putting me on the spot, aren't you? I know it's the crowd favorite and just everybody's favorite. Probably gonna have to go with the 91 with the way he's been passing cars, and after the pit stop, he started around the 8th position. I think he's just got too good of a car.
And that's Ty Majeski on the inside of row 2. Cisco?
I'm going to have to go with the 32 of Borges. He's been strong all night, and he's been coming through the pack as of late. So I'm going to go with the 32 of Ryan Borges.
So Borges second, Ty Majeski third. Andy, who you got?
I am not going to participate in this because I am the worst at giving bad luck. So if I have to pick somebody, I'm going for the 54 of Stephen Burnett, who is 13 laps down.
I'll even things up. I'll pick Jason Williams. So we got Majeski third, Borges second, and Jason Williams in first position. The 58 has the ability to choose top side or bottom. From what I've seen, I'm expecting him to choose the inside of the racetrack. Lights off, that will be the case. So he'll be on the inside of the front row. Borges is outside in second. Ty Majeski on the inside of row 2 and third. David Riendo up on the top side of row number 2, P4. And Ty Spearman on the inside of row number 3 in P5. This restart will come with just 16 laps to go. From the Five Flag Speedway, the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250 about to be finished. Question is, there's still a couple of $100, guys, yet to be determined who it goes out to. The pace car down and away. Could it be the final time? Green flag back in the air. Jason Williams to turn 1. No harm, no foul. He's your race leader. Borges in second. Majeski trying to get third. The 70 Riendo not giving up. It's side by side in turn 3.
I'll tell you, these guys will thank me later that I didn't pick them, but that battle right now for that third spot, Majeski, he's got the preferred line, but Riendo, we've seen that he's been tough and been fast here in this late going, so he's holding serve on that outside line. I just don't know how long he's going to be able to do it. Right there, here goes Majeski. He's going to have him cleared now. Can he hold off Spearman? It looks like he's going to force his way down there. Spearman's going to force his way underneath. Spearman now to the inside of Riendo off of turn 2.
That fight back for fourth for the race lead, though. Ryan Borges gets the inside position. Jason Williams is going to let him get it. Does he go for the crossover? Thinks about the bottom. Can't do it. And Ryan Borges, from second on the grid, has had a dismal performance all weekend long. He came into this race with a chip on his shoulder. A poor start. It's got a torn-up race car, but he leads at 12 laps to go. Williams falls to second. Majeski was able to get through to third position. Riendo wins that fight for P4. Majeski, if he wants a shot at the race lead, he's got to get through to P2. He's got to do it soon. He's all over the deck, Little Williams.
And right now, looking back towards the pack, Kyle Holtzhausen came out of nowhere. His caution's going to fly here. He was running 5th, but right now caution's going to be, I see the number 44 and the number, I believe that's the 16 of Tom Hamika, going to be caught up in this one.
And this puts us into a situation where we slow them down for what could be one final time tonight. However, You see the contact, the 6-seater Tom Hamika. He got turned by the number 2 on the inside of the racetrack, PJ Sturgis. That contact sends the 16 machine up the hill and into the outside retaining wall, so the yellow flag again does come out for Tom Hamika. Hamika, another one of these guys that has had just absolutely no luck. Paul Fugate involved in that accident also. 2 drivers that have not had a lot of luck go their direction. You'll take a look at the replay now, and I'm going to say the exact same thing that I said about 3 hours ago, guys. If we get one more caution, we can set us up for a 1 or 2 lap shootout. If we get inside of the final 5 laps and the yellow flag flies again, this race will end under caution flag conditions. And if you were with us earlier in the evening, you know exactly what happened when we came down to a 1 lap shootout. Ryan Borges, he'll take it any way he can. He just does not want to see a 1 lap shootout, anything along those lines for the 32 machine.
And it's good. Go ahead, Andy.
I was going to say, Ryan Borges, he doesn't want any more cautions unless it's in the final 5 laps to lock himself in. The problem is he's got a bunch of hungry guys right behind him. Majeski's been fast, but I don't know if he's fast enough to get around Ryan Borges. Right now, Ryan definitely has a really fast car. We saw how quickly he worked around Jason Williams, got that position, and actually started to pull away. So Ryan Borges, as long as he has a solid restart here, he's got a good chance to walk home with this thing.
If you're just tuning in, you're inside of the final 10 laps in the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250, the final race of 5 feature races that started earlier yesterday on Saturday afternoon with the SK Modifieds, the Street Stocks, the trucks. Earlier tonight, the Pro Late Models, the Super Late Models, about to cap off a race week with over $1,600 in cash and prizes available. The winner, first person to the checkered flag in the next 7 laps, is going to get a check for $250 minimum. $633 total to be paid out to the top 20 drivers. It is the biggest short track sim racing event on the 2015 calendar, and we're glad to have you with us on LSRTV and iRacing Live as we bring you to the end of it. The restart is going to come with exactly 5 laps to go. Race control reminds the drivers 1 additional time. What's on the line here? 5 laps, a caution flag would end this race immediately. It's going to be a dogfight down to turn number 1. The target on the back of the number 32 of Ryan Borges. He's 5 laps away from the biggest win maybe of his career. The pace car going to get down and away. We wait on the 32. Green flag flies. 5 laps to go at Five Flag Speedway, and Borges to turn 1. Jason Williams takes second in front of Ty Majeski.
Pulls out to about a 3-car length lead, 4-car length lead now as they go back into turn number 3. Majeski's still trying to get around that 70 machine of Davey Riendu, trying to make it happen. Riendu holding tough on that outside. The 787 of Kyle Holhauser.
Oh, sideways!
The 70's around.
Caution's out, though. He hangs on, but the caution flag is thrown from the tower. Yellow flag is out, and Ryan Borges will win this race if he can make it 3 additional laps under the caution flag. It was the 70 of Davey Riendu who broke sideways. He saved it, but that car, I guess, sideways enough to the point where the sim triggered the caution flag, sideways in the middle of the track, and again, a good piece of driving for him to save it, but in the eyes of the automatic caution flag system, that is enough to trigger the yellow flag, and he'll take 2 to go this time by, and it'll be a lot less of almost an anticlimactic finish for Borges. He is not going to complain in any which way, shape, or form, though, Andy. 2 laps from $250.
How could you complain? We talked about him not wanting to see that last caution, and that last caution came out. He was able to get a good run, but then, of course, as a leader, this much amount of work that these guys put in all week long, you can't complain. Would you like to see it go the whole way? Absolutely. But when you're that guy in first, you'll take him any way you can get him.
And it's Ty Majeski who will come home in third, one of the favorites into this race. Second position to somebody that was almost counted out in this race, and unrightfully so. Jason Williams overlooked a lot of the night. He was strong in the Pro Late Models earlier. he'll be able to get a second, but it's Ryan Borges. He makes the pass inside of 15 laps to go. He hangs on, and again, not the performance that he wanted on the weekend. He's going to make his NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series debut on Tuesday night on LSRTV, but until then, in his wheelhouse. It'll be at a turn at number 4 for the final time all week. The Fall Brawl climaxes with Ryan Borges at a turn number 4, checker and yellow fly, and the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250 to the driver of the 32, Ryan Borges, who will pocket the $250 check for winning the super late model feature. Williams and Majeski come home 2-3. Holtzhausen, Sipe through the top 5. Riendo, Laterallo, Spearman, Owen, and Robinson round out your top 10. Them all the way through the top 20 will be able to split the leftover $400 of the prize pool. But for Ryan Borges, who really, guys, had a very bad night until the end when the pitch strategy brings it back into it, he drove his heart out and he earned that victory.
He did earn that victory. He earned it very well with a great race. Good strategy for himself on pit road. Had trouble early. We saw it early on, having a bunch of issues, falling back in the pack, stuck on the outside a bunch of times on restarts. So Ryan Borges definitely came through in the end when it mattered the most, and he made the pass for the win, like you said, with about 15 to go. So he did everything right, and he was up there when it mattered the most.
And we'll try to get a word with your race winner and some of your other top finishers. When we come back, we close out the biggest week in short track sim racing on the 2015 calendar. With that, the 2015 SARA Fall Brawl is now in the books, and Ryan Borges is your big money winner. We'll be back in a moment for the post-race show for the virtual Five Flag Speedway. Back in a moment on LSRTV, the home of the 2015-2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series.
Top 10 for most of this race, actually.
Close as they may ever get to racing in real life. It will be Gregor Hutu coming past the line. He is a 5-time world champion. Gregor Hutu wins the championship one more time. He is the greatest driver in the history of open wheel racing here at iRacing.com, and dare I say it, he is the greatest open wheel champion in the history of sim racing. But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the 2nd race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Ground Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish #1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu worked himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Utu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now, just 3 corners left to go, into Brooklands for the final time, into Luffield for the final time. Never ever say that Gregor Hutu is beaten, because he just comes back bigger, he comes back stronger. He wins round #9 of the World Championship Series, 49th win of his career. If you're the world's greatest sim racing driver, you can do it with your statements on the road courses. Do it when it matters. Out of the final corner for the final time, number 50 for Gregor Hutu, out of the final corner. At the top of the broadcast, we said if Hutu could win here today, he could well cement himself as the championship favourite. Gregor Hutu, the #1 machine, back to victory lane, win number 51. Hutu is inching closer rapidly to his 5th, and yes, I say that correctly, his 5th World Championship. Out of the bus stop chicane comes the #1 Team Redline driver, Gregor Hutu.
Domino's TYJ Racing League is proud to announce we are now taking driver applications for our $2,500 purse inaugural season going green January 2016. At Domino's TYJ Racing League, you get paid cash, not gift cards or die casts. Cold, hard cash. You get paid for finishing 1st through 20th in our championship and 1st through 3rd, plus a lucky dog bonus in all of our 20 races, plus other cash bonuses. You're going to like the way you look. All the way to the bank. I guarantee it. Purse amount approximate, paid cash or iRacing bucks. Drivers carry less than $20. Report unsafe driving to local authorities. Apply today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com to see if you qualify for our league.
We welcome you back for one final time from the Five Flag Speedway. 7 days later, over $1,600 of prizes have now been handed out, and it accumulated tonight with the Brennigan.com Ford Brawl 120, or the 250, actually, the longest race we had on the entire week of racing. And it's Ryan Borges who wins this one. Race Control letting us know that the number 3 position is currently under review. Ty Majeski comes home in 3rd tonight. The 70 machine was in 3rd. Davey Riendo. Majeski got into the back of the 70 machine. The 70 did trigger the caution flag to come out. So with that, the 91 machine and that incident is being under review. So it'll either be a P4 or a P3. Nonetheless, caught up with, at the moment, your 4th place finisher, Kyle Holtzhausen, down there with you, Cisco.
Yeah, I've caught up with Kyle Holtzhausen here in the 787. Kyle, you had P1 on the practice board there, but you started 16th. Talk about your fight back up into the top 5.
Didn't do so well earlier this week in qualifying night. Kind of screwed up there. Just took my time, stayed in the back, just run runs out and save my tires for the end. Kind of screwed up with the fuel strategy. I ran out there and went two laps down, and I was fortunate enough to get those back.
Well, we saw you and Derek both had some really strong cars tonight, and if this had gone green, do you think you could have had anything for maybe Majeski or Borges?
I do. I had fresh tires at the end there, and I definitely think I had one of the cars to beat.
Well, no doubt about it. You were super fast out there tonight, Kyle. You finished fourth right now, pending review on third place. You might grab third here. So great run for you, and also great run for Derek there. Who'd you like to thank?
Thank you. I want to thank my cousin Derek for working on the setup together. Without him, we wouldn't be where we're at. I want to thank Matt Roll for putting this on. He did an awesome job all week long, lots of hours and time. I want to thank you guys for putting on a good show. You always do. And that's it.
Well, that's Kyle Holzhausen, going to finish right now fourth in the Holzhausen Racing Ford Mustang. So a great run for him. And I believe Andy has caught up with our second place finisher, Jason Williams.
That's right. I am down here on pit road with the driver of the number 58, Jason Williams. Jason, man, it was so close there towards the end. Yeah, it looks like you had the car to be beat. Unfortunately, it came up one spot too short.
Yeah, just one short tonight. I think I took tires just a few laps too early. I took my tires on lap 130, and the race would have been about 5 laps shorter. I think I'd have been pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely had, you were up there up front. Talk about the restarts. Obviously, the restarts were huge. For the control car, you were able to jump out when you wanted to. You were able to jump out to a pretty sizable lead there a couple times there before you were finally overtaken. But talk about how those restarts definitely were great for the leader in the track position.
Yeah, for sure. Restarting as a leader was definitely key. I mean, like you just said, you can get out a big jump on somebody. That definitely what helped me a whole lot, having the older tires that I could get out a little bit. And if you got stuck on the outside on any restarts, you were definitely in trouble, because every time I started on the outside, I'd lose 5-6 spots.
Yeah, it's almost like running at a Martinsville, this Five Flag Speedway is. And you come home, obviously, with a second place finish. It's been a long week, lots of time trials and qualifying races and little heat races, and it just a long week overall. But it's got to be pretty satisfying when it's all said and done here in the final super late model event. You come home with this good finish here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has been a long week and a lot of working on setups and stuff, but in the end, it was worth it. I mean, the other late model race, I mean, I think I had a car to win. Actually, my teammate Stefan did win the race with one of my setups, so I think we had the car to beat in that race, and I think he got some bad luck on this race, and I think even me and him towards the end fight for the win in this one as well.
Yeah, it was awesome to see your car up front and battling that hard, starting 11th here tonight, and be able to work your way all the way up to that second place and lead a bunch of laps. Also, who you want to? Any sponsors or shout outs you want to give here tonight for this great run?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my team, Mad Speed Racing. All the guys out there. I'd like to give another shout out to Ty Spearman for giving me a little bit of help with my setups this past week. If it wasn't for him, I mean, I would never ran this good over these races. And thanks my teammate, for giving me good feedback on the setup and all the practices. And I think that what's really helped us get close to pulling the double here at the Fall Brawl.
Well, there you have it. Congratulations again, second place finish. That's your second place finisher here at the main event, the super late models here, the 250 lap event. And I believe Evan has caught up with probably a very happy driver there in victory lane.
We were talking a little bit of pro before this race, but Ryan Borges making sure that we don't forget that the short track's a place that he's always so very strong at. Starts from second on the grid, falls back, and man, you peaked at the best possible time, making that move inside of the final 20 laps, and you're the winner in the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250. I don't have the $250 on me to give to you, but that is on your way for winning this super late model feature. What are you thinking right now?
I'm really excited right now, to tell you the truth. I didn't really think I had the car to win it. Well, I guess I'll rephrase that. I didn't think I was gonna win it. I thought I had a decent car. I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, the LRM guys, they backed me in this event with a great setup, and we were all. I think everyone was really confident coming in. We were gonna be strong. So, I mean, I didn't really doubt the setup. I just didn't know if I had anything for the two ties, but. The race really fell my way there. That last half with all the pit strategy and the cautions and just getting through some wrecks. I was in, I think, one of the wrecks. I thought I was finished, but the car wasn't too badly hurt, and I was able to drive it up to the front there. So I'm just I'm just really happy right now, to tell you the truth. I usually never win these big money races that I enter in, so this is awesome.
Well, this one, I'm sure you can put alongside the online All-American 400 win you had here on LSRTV a couple of months back. But in this race, it was, for the most part, a race that looked like Ty Spearman's to win or lose. He comes down to the pit lane later on, gets 4 tires at once. What did you guys do in that 32 machine after starting on second but having a rocky start?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I kind of fell back there after the start. It was a matter of, I had a few of the LRM guys running with me, PJ and Joe, and I had a couple other guys. Who am I forgetting? Dylan. I think Dylan ran a few laps, Dylan Schmidt and Casey, but we were all discussing strategy and talking about what to do, and I was just taking it easy there early on and letting guys go and just trying to save tires, because we were mainly just trying to stretch that first set of tires. Since we only got 4 tires, we were trying to stretch that as far as we could, especially with only 22 gallons of fuel in. So I was just being really conservative there, and I think lap 180, 170, around there, we were getting close to having to come in just because of fuel, but a caution came out luckily, so I took my 4 tires there and went back green, and I thought it was all over when there was a big junk in turn 1 at one point. But I was able to, I guess, I didn't avoid it. I mean, I was in that, and I got drilled a couple times, and I thought I was wrecked or something was screwed up with the car, but it still drove okay. I mean, it had like a minute or two as optional, but it still drove okay. And from there, it's just used those newer tires to my advantage, worked back through the field, and was able to battle with Daniel and Ty and who else was up there? Kyle, those 3, as well as Davey. Those guys were definitely fast, and I was just able to work my way around them and get lucky with the placement of the cautions and restarts, and it all worked out.
And this entire race week, we've covered over the last 2 days 1,350 laps of racing over 10 hours of coverage. But, we got to see the super late qualifying back on Thursday, and, your car really wasn't expected to get a whole lot out of that one, but you got a top 10 in it. What was the race weekend like from Monday through Friday in the qualifier sessions and then this entire weekend? Because I know you had a lot better expectations, and for the most part, it really didn't go that well for you. Tonight, I'm sure, though, makes up for a lot of that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The people in the chat telling I do talk a lot. I'm sorry about that, but I just try to give a good explanation of what's going on. But yeah, the first half of the weekend, all week, it really didn't go as well as I thought it was going to go. I just didn't really have the speed in any of the other divisions. It was a matter of getting in wrecks or just not flat out not having the setup dialed in. I was working on my own in all 4 of the other divisions, and having a team in this SLM division, the most competitive division, I think was really key for me. All the LRM guys, as always, they give me a great backing with setup support, and it'll be the same in the Pro Series. I'm sure I'll have a great car under me for sure. It's just a matter of me not messing up and being able to drive it. So I think it was all about the car there in the SLM race, and that really showed. I was able to work my way up to the front, and that really made up for all I guess they weren't horrible finishes, but just not what I wanted in the first few races. So it turned out a great event.
I believe tonight we broke a live viewership record on LSRTV outside of the Pro Series for everybody tuning in. So it was an exciting finish. And you mentioned Pro. We saw Logan Clampett go back-to-back on Friday nights in one of our regular LSRTV series with the Rod Car Truck Tour and then the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. You win it tonight, and both of you guys, one thing in common is you'll be racing Tuesday night on LSRTV, opening round of the 9 race 2015-2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. I know we're still at the 5 Flag Speedway, but can you preview us a little bit for what we'll see at Texas in just 2 days now?
Oh, I'm excited for it. I guess I'm excited, but a little nervous for it, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm nervous just because it's my first pro race, like half the field, or the majority of the field actually. But it should be a good race. It'll obviously be super competitive since it's a lot of the top drivers on iRacing. And Texas, I've been testing there. It's been a ton of fall off with the tires, way more than we're seeing like than what you saw on LSRTV in this race with the supers. Obviously, I mean, we're at a faster track, but I mean, there's multiple second fall offs. So that's going to be huge, managing tires there, and pit strategy, and missing all the wrecks too, because I'm sure there'll be a decent amount of wrecks. Texas is, especially with those tires, it's going to be hard on the long run. So it should be a really competitive race, and I'm confident. I'm confident that I'll have a good car under me. Like I said, the LRM guys give me a good car, as always.
We had 3 races at 150 laps yesterday, and then earlier tonight 200, but this was the one that everybody circled. The prize pool larger than anything else, and the most payout to the top spot. That was more than the entire payout for any other race. You come in the clutch and you're the winner in the feature race for the super late models, walking away with the Brennigan.com Ford Fall Brawl 250 win. Any other sponsors or shout outs you want to give from Victory Lane?
Like I already said, I have Last Row Motorsports on the car. That's just a tribute to all those guys and their hard work. I mean, if without them, I wouldn't have been in contention, to be honest. I just don't know what I'm doing completely setup wise with these cars to make them go as fast as I need to go. But again, just shout out to those guys. I also got to thank just perennial sponsors and supporters: Racer Boost, the Extreme Racing Series, Jerky XP, Molecule Motorsports, Lundgren Honda, and Bark Competition Karting. All those guys helping me out in different aspects of racing, whether it be go-kart racing or iRacing or whatever I'm doing. Those guys have my back, so thanks to all of them. And thank you guys on LSR, as always, broadcasting these events. It's awesome coverage. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. I mean, there was a fair amount of wrecks in some of them, but I thought the racing made up for that, and it was a good event all around.
And there was a lot of different lead changes in this one. The final one, though, put that 32 to the top spot, and you walk away as the big winner in this 2015 SARA Fall Brawl. Ryan, thanks for sticking around and chatting. A huge congratulations to you. And, I guess the fun's over because we'll see you on Tuesday night for the Pro Series, and I know you're really looking forward to that, so we'll see you then.
Thank you, guys.
So Ryan Borges, your super late model feature race winner from the Five Flag Speedway. Williams, Majeski / Holtzhausen, 3rd and 4th, still without an official word on if Majeski will be penalized and drop down from 3rd. If not, if he does, he'll take the number 14 spot, I would believe. If he does not, he'll keep that. Holtzhausen sits in P4 and awaits a result from that. We did mention one of the other big prizes on the night was the New Hampshire Motor Speedway prize pack. So for the drivers that started all 5 feature races, whoever had the lowest total accumulated finish, so Ryan Borges, if he wins tonight, that's 1 point on top. So the best really consistency all weekend long. Got 2 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series tickets to the 2016 New Hampshire Motor Speedway fall date. Because the Pro Late Model race is still under review, we don't have results on that yet, but you can stay tuned on Facebook at facebook.com/Sim Auto Racing Association or twitter.com/Sarah Sim Racing for more information in that regards. But guys, as I said, 1,350 laps later and 10 hours at least just this weekend plus Thursday. It's been an exciting weekend of short track sim racing, and we continue on because we don't slow down. We got RSR tomorrow. Tuesday's the Pro Series. Wednesday, Hardline Racing. Thursday's Upstate Racing. Friday is ISS and Rod Car. I mean, there is something every single night of the week on LSRTV. But before we close things up, want to get your guys' closing thoughts. And Gabriel, I'll start with you on the pit lane.
Yeah, the pit lane was pretty busy tonight. It wasn't like the Pro Late Model race where you got a caution around halfway and everybody came to the pits. It was kind of a split strategy, and Ty Spearman, unfortunately, he called it wrong, and Borges, he called it right. It was a very interesting race to watch from my perspective. I really enjoyed it.
And there was a lot on the pit lane for sure because these guys mixed it up with each other enough to keep everybody entertained, Andy. An exciting one. We expected nonetheless. The Super Lates definitely put on, I think, the best show we saw all weekend long. I don't think I'm ever going to forget that Pro Late Model finish, but this race as a total saw a lot of great racing up front.
Yeah, it did. You're talking the top guys out there, coming in here with all different kinds of setups and different strategies, the long run cars, the short run cars. It seemed like everybody really had a good piece under them. It could have gone any way. I mean, there's probably at least 15 guys out there that could have won this race at any given point. So I definitely think that this was definitely a great thing, and a huge shout out to Matt Rolfe for putting this whole thing on, and everybody over at SARA that gets it done. This is an exciting thing that they do every year, and a week's worth of time and effort and a lot of hard work goes into it, and they do a fantastic job, and we get to do the easy part, I think, to just call these things.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy, and just a great run for Ryan Borges. I mean, he didn't have the greatest weekend, just gotten a couple wrecks there, didn't have a great pro late model race, but at the end of the day, he comes home the big winner here in the super late model feature, and Evan, I thought that made for a pretty exciting race.
It was an exciting one nonetheless, and again, as you guys mentioned, there's a whole lot of sponsors and other people that attribute to making this event what it is. A big thanks to Brennigan.com Ford, D&D Amusement Games, Callaway Investments, Emerald Designs, NEO Racing News, and then as well the NHMS prize pack presented by Matt Rolfe, because Matt, a huge part of giving us what we saw this past week. I mean, you know, these guys were approaching triple digits of hours of practice and everything, months of planning, and 7 days of nonstop action with countless hours every single day. And I agree with Andy that I think we had the easier job of just hopping into the booth and watching all the exciting action and commentating that and bringing it to you. And we're so happy that everybody enjoyed our coverage. And again, we're glad to have you with us tuning in on LSRTV. So a huge thanks to Matt Rolfe and everybody else behind the scenes at SARA, one of iRacing's premier short track racing leagues that features some of the best short track drivers on the service and from the real world side of things, as you saw this evening. Again, Facebook.com/Sim Auto Racing Association, or on Twitter at twitter.com/SARA Sim Racing for all of the information on them. If you want to stay up to date with LSRTV, because I promise you do, because this Tuesday, back at it for the third year running, LSRTV's coverage provided on iRacing Live from the Texas Motor Speedway for the season kickoff from the Texas Motor Speedway 2015-2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. You can find us and give us a like on Facebook. That's facebook.com/live simracingtv. Our website is also www.livesimracing.com. Until next time, we'll see you tomorrow night with the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. On behalf of the entire LSRTV team and everybody a part of today's team and last night's team, for myself, Evan Pasocco, Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramuza, Gabriel Wood, and our executive producer, Laura Lawson, we thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations to Ryan Borges, your SLM feature winner and the big money winner from the Five Flag Speedway. We bid you farewell from Pensacola, Florida. We will see you Tuesday night from the Texas Motor Speedway when we go Pro Series racing on LSRTV.